Okay, that helped it. It gets so bright in here that the iris gets confused on all the lights, and the camera thinks it's dark, and then the processor thinks it's overlit, so I have to adjust that sometimes. Guys, welcome in. Give everybody a few minutes to get in and get set. It's going to be a good show tonight. If you saw the post that I did, I'm going to be joined by one of my good friends. You know, we always have the best on the show. He's going to be calling in here in just a minute. Can you guys hear me? Everybody's good on the volume. Let me know in the. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Guys, isn't it cool to be back together? I miss you guys. I truly do. It was like I was running around all day today doing errands and doing this and doing that. And I wanted to go and take my phone and hit that live now button, right? And I'm like, nope, got to be disciplined. We told the folks it would be 8 o'clock. So I was almost going to slip one in today just to come on and say, hey. The other good thing is the Discord channel is getting set up. That thing is going to be off the chart here shortly, and it's going to be real. From what I understand, it's going to be very user-friendly. We're going to have the thing divided in sections. So if you're not in Discord and you want to stay connected to the family, guys, get into the Discord because it's on fire. There's some amazing people in there. And Rico, welcome, bro. How you doing? Look, guys, I cracked my mug. If you're just joining, before coming into the studio, I washed my mug out, right? I wash my mug like once a week, guys. I drink some energy tea in this mug every night, right? I have to bring the energy to you guys. So I'm in there washing it. Look, it's dripping. Boop. I'm washing my mug, and the next thing I know, I drop it. So I didn't think it was a big deal, so I just kind of washed it and dried it and put some hot water in it and mixed some tea up, and it's cracked. So now I'm having a crisis. I have a cracked mug. The water's not bad. I have a towel here. So here from Florida, welcome. I'm over in Cocoa Beach, on the beach in Cocoa Beach, guys. So welcome, Florida. Love my neighbors in the Sunshine State. Let's give it a few more minutes. Waiting on Dewey to connect. We'll bring her up for just a moment and let her get things organized. So let's talk about you before we get the next guest on. How are you? It's Friday. And you guys, let me tell you something. You guys could be in Northern Ireland. Oh, welcome into the network. Oh my goodness. Ireland is in the house, guys. Amazing. Ohio. Let me read a few of these. Happy Friday to you. Thank God it's Friday, right? Everybody's doing good. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Look at that. Boop, boop, boop. I love those things. Those things. Oh, that was beautiful. Those things really excite me, guys. Iowa's back in the house. Hello, Oklahoma. Scotland. Oh my goodness. Are you kidding? Guys, if I yell, tell me to quieten down. I get excited. Scotland. It's just crazy. Rockledge. I'm in Cocoa Beach, guys. Whoever's in Rockledge, I don't know how you pin that, but you're my neighbor, right? The things, Australia. This is freaking amazing. Kentucky, Texas, Jersey. Major storm coming again. Yeah, it's going to get cold here. Well, I say it's cold. You guys up north are laughing, right? It's going to get in the 30s or like low 40s or something here Sunday night or Monday. Oregon, love Oregon. North Carolina, go Tar Heels. Yeah, I know. Somebody said 30 LOL, right? Look, I can say that because I was born and raised in West Virginia, and I'm one of those guys that walked to school in snow up to my knees. South Carolina's in the house. Welcome. All right, let's bring Miss Dewey into the mix. Hey, Dewey.
Hello.
How's my volume?
It's good. Can everybody hear him? I can hear you just fine.
And look, guys, I went back to old school. Man, I have this computer and this camera system and all this crazy stuff. And I went back old school, got out an iPad, put the app on it, and baby, we're back on the iPad. So, Dewey, I like the iPad. It's a lot more manageable for me. I feel more connected. Last night, I felt like I was a million miles away from everyone. I'm like, come closer. I can't see you guys. So
Yes, we had a discussion about that. Hello, everybody. Good evening. We had a big discussion about that and decided that mobile is a lot more person friendly, and it's, studio is kind of made for gamers. So
two thumbs down on the
while
computer.
it was a good idea and we got to have all these, neat little boxes and people, it was
Craig, I'm coming to you in 45 seconds.
All right, sir.
All right, guys, I do not want the next guest to be waiting. He works hard. He works for a living. I always like to respect time, right? My wife taught me that, respect people's time. She drove that into my mind for years. She's an entrepreneur and just a rock star, right? So respect people's time. Let me tell you, next guest is a true rock star. You may have seen him on a couple of headline shows. You may have seen him on Court TV on some few cases in the past. Craig Harper. Craig's been a friend of mine. I was over at a I think it was a Joint Terrorism Task Force at FBI or Violent Crimes or something. Craig and I had known each other for years. He worked for one agency. I worked for another agency. I was the sheriff. I was in control. Just joking. But Craig is a polygraph examiner. And before I bring Craig on, Craig has decades in law enforcement. He was a detective. He's worked all the major cases. Craig has done a lot of stuff for the Department of Defense, a lot of federal law enforcement agencies, and he currently does multiple law enforcement agencies, city, county, and state. An unbelievable pedigree. And I wanted to get Craig on tonight, guys. Here's why. We heard from Rick Lallemand 2 nights ago, and Rick said, as a homicide investigator, if he had been assigned that case, the family, friends, and associates, and perhaps service workers would have been polygraphed. So who better to bring in? Craig Harper. Hey, Craig, welcome.
Hello, Jamie.
And let me make sure everybody's guys. Craig, give me a test count there, or sing me a song. Hum me a few bars so the people can hear you, please, so I can make sure.
1, 2, 3.
You guys got him?
Can you hear me?
Yep,
Sounds
got
good.
you. Craig, welcome. Amazing that you took the time. I know that I texted Craig earlier today, and I didn't get a response from Craig. That's Craig, because he's busy doing examinations. So, I like to call him the doctor of polygraphy. And if you look that name up, and I'll let Craig tell you, but it's basically someone that performs a polygraph test. He's an examiner, guys. And I just wanted to bring Craig in. Decades and decades and decades of law enforcement experience. Highly, highly sought after polygraph examiner. Craig, welcome. How are you?
Doing well.
How many tests do you think you've given over your career, Craig Harper?
Over 10,000 documented.
That's amazing. 10,000 tests. And just a short thing. You were you started out in the Navy. Just give us a little bit of background, Craig. We want to acknowledge your service, number one, both to the military and law enforcement, and now in the private sector. So if you could just give us a 30,000 foot, who is Craig Harper?
I started out in the military in the nuclear engineering program. I was a reactor operator aboard the Eisenhower. And then when I got out of the Navy in 87, I joined the Orlando Police Department and worked my way up to a major crimes detective position. In 1998, Orlando Police sent me to polygraph school in Texas. It was through Texas Department of Public Safety, but they contracted DOD and federal personnel to come in and teach us. So I've been a polygraph examiner since 1998.
Wow. And you're estimating around 10,000 tests given, Craig?
It's at least that.
That's amazing. And I'll tell you guys, I know that at one point, he was the go-to guy at the Orlando Police Department when he was there full time. And Craig, it's not changed since you've been in the private sector. So first of all, guys in the chat, light it up for Craig. He gave up his valuable time. He's worked hard today. And Craig, let's dive right into it. Let me give you the backstory. Had Rick Lallemand, he was with the Orange County Sheriff's Office, major crimes homicide investigator, had Rick on the show 2 nights ago, and Rick was kind of giving us the bird's eye view as to the Nancy Guthrie case. And what stuck out, let me back up. Fox Digital had reported that a few days ago, they were administering polygraph test at the Pima County Sheriff's Office. So everyone jumped to the conclusions that says, oh, it's the Nancy Guthrie case. Well, it turned out it was a bunch of new hires. You've done those too. But Rick Lallemand shed some light on that. He, in fact, said the first thing he would have done to clear, you don't want to point fingers, you want to clear and eliminate the pool of suspects, would be perhaps polygraphing the family, friends, service workers that had close connections with Nancy Guthrie. Kind of take us through that. I mean, have you done that before? What's the process? And whatever you can share with us in that process in an early stage of a homicide investigation.
Well, it's much quicker to perform a polygraph to clear a subject than it is to do the complete background investigation, search for leads, any involvement, etc. So by formulating the proper relevant questions, you can determine whether or not they had any knowledge of what occurred to Miss Guthrie. So it's much more rapid, and the advantage to that is your investigators are not going to waste time on somebody that's been cleared through somebody like me. They're going to go on to other possible leads.
So in essence, Craig, you're assisting those investigations, especially a high-profile case like Nancy Guthrie, to speed through to eliminate people that are not responsible for her missing.
Correct. But at the same time, every once in a while, you'll be going through to try to do that clearing type polygraph, and all of a sudden somebody has knowledge or divulges information that leads to possible leads in the case.
So let me ask you, we certainly don't want you to give up your trade secrets and your trade craft, but can you generalize, like, what are some general questions? Let's say you have a case similar to the Nancy Guthrie case. What are you asking? What are you looking for, Craig?
It's pretty simple. In fact, in polygraph, you want to keep it as simple as possible and limit the number of relevant questions, because the fewer relevant questions allows me to put it into those federal or military formats that have the greatest validation. But the bottom line is, do you have knowledge of what happened to Miss Guthrie? Were you at Miss Guthrie's house the day of her disappearance? It's questions that are formulated like that. Well, if they weren't there, they can easily rationalize out. If they don't have any knowledge of it, they can rationalize out of that. So they're not going to be reactive on those types of questions. If I'm talking to somebody who was involved, they essentially picture in their mind their involvement. And that involvement poses a significant threat. And that's what causes them to react on the polygraph.
So, like, can you give an example, Craig? What would be like the top 3 questions right off the bat you would ask family, friends, associates in a case like the Nancy Guthrie case?
Do you have any knowledge of what happened to Nancy Guthrie? Were you at her residence the day of her disappearance? And do you know who may have done this to Miss Guthrie? And that right there would allow me to throw it into that federal format.
And while we're on that, Craig, how much does homicide rely on you, the polygraph examiner? I mean, are they relying heavily on you at the beginning of this case? Is it something that they follow up on in a few days afterward? How quick would you get involved if that was occurring?
In actuality, not very quick. So if they have a case that has viable leads, they're going to follow those leads. But oftentimes when polygraph is brought in is toward the end of an investigation where they're running out of leads. And at that point, they'll go back and order polygraphs on maybe even people they've already talked to, people they were unable to eliminate. The unique thing about polygraph if I get a bad test, in other words, somebody's reactive, most of the time we're able to uncover additional information that yields significant further leads in the case, things that the detectives can follow up on.
Like, what would be an example of that, Craig, if you could share?
On a case like this, if they clear, they're done. They're out of it. I give my report to the detectives and they go to the next one. Say they don't react to seeing Miss Guthrie that day, being at the house, but they have knowledge of who may have done it. We may even perform a breakout test to try to determine who they're talking about at that point and address that issue of knowledge of who's responsible. The other thing is it's that age-old question. If you were the detective in this case, what would you do to solve it?
Well, you're going to use every resource possible, right?
Exactly. So that's a rhetorical question, but their responses at that point, and that would be in an interview phase of the polygraph, their responses can actually yield whether or not they're being deceitful, truthful. You know, a lot of times people want to be helpful. They think they've seen something that is involved in the case. But on other occasions, they've talked to somebody that may have made comments like, I want to kill that person, or I'm going to cause that person problems. And in that case, we're going to follow through on that. We'll do that breakout polygraph to try to determine who they're talking about.
Let me ask you this, Craig. Early in my career, well, let me back up. You know, if you apply for law enforcement, anything military, anything federal, yada, 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 you're going to be given a polygraph. That's just how it works, right?
It's pre-employment screening tests.
Yeah.
They're generally about 30% more effective than a background, because backgrounds only show us what somebody's been caught doing.
Let me pin you down to a detailed question, and I always bragged on this. You know, I had John Allen over in homicide. If I had a bad guy, I'd call John Allen. He was like the human lie detector guy, right? If I got in trouble, I wouldn't want to look in his eyes because he knows you're lying, right? He can pick you out. But here's the deal, Craig. How much truth is this myth, or is it a truth? Of course, the machine. We'll get in a little bit about the accuracy of it, but is that machine solely a machine, or does the polygrapher or the examiner in this case have a lot to do with it in terms of the questions, or better yet, the pre-polygraph questions? Have you gotten confessions before putting them on the box is where I'm going.
Absolutely, in a pre-test interview. But understand, most polygraph examiners have extensive interview and interrogation training. So we're looking at kinesics, the study of body language as it correlates to communication, neurolinguistic programming, what they're doing with their eyes when they converse and why, and even statement analysis. People say things certain ways when they're lying and when they're telling the truth. Despite all that training, there have been times in polygraph that I had no indications of deceit in the pre-test interview. And then when I put them on polygraph, I get the results. So the polygraph sees far more than I can. And then if you look at it, people overcomplicate it. Poly means multiple. So multiple graphs, multiple writings. It's graphing heart, breathing, sweat, and motion. So cardiorespiratory exocrine systems of the body. The way it works, if somebody's telling me the truth, they do not perceive threat to the relevant questions. If they lie to me, they also have to picture their knowledge or what they've done. And if that becomes threatening upon discovery, that's going to cause that release of adrenaline. Epinephrine's going to hit the bloodstream. It's going to change my cardio response. If cardio goes up, breathing and sweat are going to follow it. So that's what the polygraph is monitoring. If you want a comparative sorts, it'd be a hospital monitor. If you and I visit somebody in a hospital, we see their heart and breathing. If the nurse comes in with a needle in her hand, that's going up. If you and I go to dinner and we see blue lights behind me, our heart rates elevate. That's that adrenaline release that the polygraph is targeting. So essentially, we review all the questions with the examinee up front. If they tell me the truth, it puts them more at ease, because then when they sit in the chair, they know they've told us the truth. They don't perceive threat. And now they know their test. For the guilty party, it makes them picture what they've done. If they lie to it, two things happen. They now worry about that question because they know it's coming on the test. But during the actual polygraph, now it makes them picture what they've done. And the fear of detection causes the release of that of epinephrine. And that's what the polygraph is looking for.
Let me ask you this, Craig. We're not going to hear this. Everyone wants the news now, and I've had a couple of professionals in there from law enforcement. Now we're absolutely not going to be told a lot of stuff in this case, and I think people are now coming to grips with that, right? Let me ask you a professional question in your expert opinion, Craig. When this case is over, if in fact they make an arrest or multiple arrests, are we going to learn later through court documents, et cetera, that polygraphs were actually probably administered to the family or friends? Is that something we're going to learn after this?
It's highly possible, because the FBI has a large polygraph unit and very well trained. In fact, many of the people that taught me came out of the FBI, CIA, DEA, or military. So the FBI, if they need polygraph, it is readily available. But the bottom line is, you have to get the examiner the right person. Yeah. I can use it to eliminate possible suspects that are in her circle, but at the same time, I can't identify who did it unless that person's sitting in the chair.
Let me ask you in another direction. I've used these, especially in private practice. Matter of fact, you administered a lot of those tests for us. You also want to perhaps interview witnesses, especially if there's money involved, a ransom, a reward. We're going to give you information for this. You want to vet that person out. It's a very, let me ask you, is it a very common practice to interview certain witnesses, whether it's eyewitnesses, ear witnesses, etc.?
It's common practice, but we rely on our detectives to do those interviews. If they have concern about somebody, then it might be time to bring them in and polygraph them if the person's not divulging what they believe to be knowledge in the case. You and I've heard it 100 times. If it's a theft case, follow the money. So anybody in that financial ring might be game to the polygraph. But it's either going to do one of two things. It's either going to clear them, or we're going to get reactions, and then we're going to go after the reactions and possibly identify further leads or implicate the suspect. Years ago, I did a polygraph in a homicide case, and my detectives told me point blank, Craig, we want to clear this guy. He was there, but we don't think he had anything to do with it. He ended up being the shooter.
Oh, really?
And in the middle of the polygraph, he broke down and ended up with a confession.
And you got the confession?
Oh, yeah. It's easier with the polygraph. There's been times I've even showed the subject their own charts and asked them to pick out the biggest reaction. So they're on video picking out their live responses in the polygraph. If they can see it, the jury's going to be able to see it if I post it for a jury. So that's very compelling. And we'll bring that up. Say, you're not an examiner and you can see your own live responses. If you can see it, everybody I show this to is going to be able to see it.
Now, I just thought it was imperative to bring you on to kind of give that end of the case. I've heard there's a Fox Digital reporter out there that's very, very connected, and he's hearing that some people close, we'll leave it at that, have already been put on the box. Of course, he doesn't know the results, doesn't know the exact names, but he knew that occurred about the 5th day into this investigation. So I wanted to bring you on, Craig. One last question.
That doesn't surprise me, Jamie, at all.
Yeah.
The fact that the FBI is employing polygraphs doesn't shock me.
And you picked out a good point, Craig. And see, you are the smarter guy in the room here, in my room. That didn't occur, according to my sources, until after FBI arrived. So what you said is exactly, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if it appears, obviously you and I take what general media puts out with a grain of salt. And you and I also know that we are far from knowing everything that's being done or the knowledge that's been attained. We're not going to know that until it's completely done. So it would be crazy if an FBI agent has an inkling. It's very easy for them to arrange a polygraph to either confirm or refute knowledge or involvement.
Hey, how good are you in body language there, Craig?
Kinesics, neurolinguistic programming, statement analysis, it all goes into advanced interrogation techniques.
Hey, before we close, you want to take a dive on this family dynamics and the family videos that have been released? What are you reading from Savannah Guthrie? I mean, she's heartbroken. Her mother's missing. Any sign of this? I mean, what's your read on her?
She didn't have a clue.
Clueless.
Yes. I mean, she's emotional. All of her reactions appear absolutely in line with having no knowledge. I feel for her.
The other trending topic in this case, and make it abundantly clear, I nor anyone in this this show is pointing fingers at anyone. It's just trending. There's a conversation or conversations happening, Craig Harper, regarding the siblings, especially Annie Guthrie. My goodness, there were people dissecting that video. She was taking gasping breaths. She was looking down. She wasn't looking at the camera. She wasn't looking at Savannah. Craig, what do you read from the sister during that video? I mean, anything sticks out to you there?
Frankly, I'm unfamiliar.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
And that's what working people do. They're not glued to the TV, Craig Harper. So thank you for doing the job. Last question, couple questions in the chat, Craig. This is a question that I always get if this topic is spoken about. Why are the polygraphs not admissible? And that's kind of a misconception. They are admissible. Can you clear that up for us for just a moment to help the audience?
For years, polygraph was not admitted into court. But the problem was, Jamie, that nobody had done the validation studies or released the validation studies that proved its accuracy. I believe, I don't know the motive behind it, but in the mid-'80s, the Department of Defense Polygraph Institute did release some validation studies. So the first polygraph didn't come to court until 1989. It was Piccanona versus the U.S. Now we're getting case law that's coming in where examiners have testified, including myself. I've testified in World Court in London. I've testified in Jamaica. I've testified in the Ninth Judicial Circuit to polygraph. So every time we do something like that, now there's case law established that the attorneys can reference and bring it up to the courts. So most of the time, it used to be they would conduct a Fry hearing to determine admissibility, but now the trend seems to be more toward Daubert, which is actually more liberal than Fry, and it deals with the admission of scientific evidence.
Yeah, that's a big misconception, man. I hear that all the time. It's not admissible in court. Well, stand by. Let's.
So Yeah, I've testified on, I'm guessing, between 15 and 20 times the polygraphs. But you got to remember, on the cases where we actually have a failed polygraph, a lot of your examiners are good interrogators, so we'll run 60 to 70% confession rate on a failed polygraph. If they confess the polygraphs out of it, the confession is what's going to come to court.
Well, Craig, I'm going to ask Abby Dewey if she has any questions before I let you go. Abby, I'm going to give you one question. I know you may have a question for Craig. He can't hear you.
Guys, let's go with the questions. Which one? Quickly. They want to know if a polygraph examiner can be fooled.
Craig, the question in the chat, can a polygraph examiner be fooled during a test or the pretest?
There is a such thing as false positives, false negatives. Now, the pretest doesn't count because we haven't run the polygraph yet. And I'll level with you. There were times where I thought the person I was getting ready to test wouldn't have a problem in the polygraph, and they ended up failing the test. So it only goes to show that the polygraph is going to see more than I can. So despite all my training, that polygraph is far more accurate than I am, which puts us more at ease, because if we do miss something in the pretest interview, it's going to catch it.
And one more question, if we can get to it. Hold on, Craig. We have one more question?
Yes. They want to know if a polygraph could lead to being detained or more severe issues.
Repeat that. I didn't understand that.
Angie's wanting to know, does a polygraph lead to detainment?
Angie's asking, Craig, does a polygraph test lead to a detainment? Let's say you're doing the examination and he comes up, he's the guy. Would that lead up to a detainment? Is that the question, Dewey?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's the question, Craig.
Okay, so I would never let my detectives make an arrest based solely on the polygraph. But what people have to understand, when we do a polygraph and it goes south, the person fails. We almost always uncover additional evidence and leads, which allows the detective to go on and corroborate not only the polygraph, but the suspect's involvement. And what I'll tell you, just to follow up on the previous question about false positives or false negatives, most of the time, Jamie, those occur because of interference. Example, I had one where a guy had faked an armed robbery and stole money from his employer. And it went, I probably should have called it inconclusive, but it appeared as though he passed his polygraph. My detective comes back to me and he says, Craig, we've uncovered additional evidence. We've got prints on the scene, and this guy actually did A, B, and C. And he said, how does this happen? I said, there's interference. He's more worried about something else that he's done that I couldn't identify during the test. And he started laughing at me. And I said, why are you laughing? And he said, this guy that faked this armed robbery to his business and took the money from the owner, we just implicated him in 7 armed robberies down on International Drive.
Oh,
and it
wow.
was the same time frame. So he was more concerned with me discovering the armed robbery involvement than he was with the theft from the business.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
In a pre-employment setting, I had another girl. She was reacting in between my questions. So after the first chart, I said, ma'am, what are you thinking about? And she burst into tears. And she says, my mother died last night.
Oh, so that would be an interference.
And I said, why are you here? She says, I need this job so bad. So in that case, I called HR. They held the position. She went through bereavement. She came back 2 weeks later. You couldn't have made any congruency between the two charts. I mean, the first chart was a mess. When she came back in, she was a good person. She was hired.
So she just had that, she had her mother on her mind. That was an interference.
She was scheduled to go pick out a casket
Unbelievable.
after she left my polygraph. I can't make her concentrate on the polygraph because of the psychological trauma.
Unbelievable. Well, I wanted to bring you in, not only for this case, we're going to be diving into some other criminal cases, Craig. I would like to keep you on speed dial for some of this stuff. Guys in the chat, light it up for Craig in the chat. Give us up his time. He's worked hard today. Craig, I'm forever indebted for you coming on and doing this. And I'm sure we're going to be talking soon.
All right, sir. You and I go back a long ways.
Yes, we do. You're one of the good ones, man. Thank you so much. I've learned so much over the years from you. So, guys, if you want to catch somebody lying, this is the guy. He can help you get to the truth. So, Craig Harper, where can they find you?
So I'm the owner of D. Craig Harper and Associates, LLC. There's 4 total examiners in the office. 3 of them come from OPD, and I've got one that's retired out of the feds. She works CIA and National Geospatial.
That's an amazing pedigree and amazing staff you have. So, hey, if I ever have somebody spending too much of my money and they lie about it, I'm going to send them to you for a polygraph, Craig, and we can catch them and put them on the spot.
The only bad thing is we can't force them to take it. They essentially have to volunteer.
Craig Harper, thank you so much, and we'll be sure. I'm going to put your link up there so everybody can see it. And dude, you're out doing the work that we don't see behind the scenes, and I appreciate your time, Craig. Thank you so much. I'm grateful that you came on.
Have a good weekend, sir.
Thank you, brother. All right, guys, there you have it. Is this related to the Nancy Guthrie case? Yes. I think before this is over with, you're going to find out that they've, in fact, already polygraphed several people. I'm hearing that from... That's lemonade. Oh, my God.
Yes.
We're going to learn in this case that a polygraph was utilized. They want to clear people, right? So I felt it was necessary to bring who I trust. And guys, I'm bringing the A game every time I do a live, right? I'm not just opening up the phone book and say, hey, can you please, pretty please? These are people that I've been connected with, worked with, have a relationship with, and I trust, right? Craig and I go back 30 years. So if, just like Rick, if Craig tells me it's going to rain, I'm going to get out my umbrella because it's going to rain. So here's what I didn't bring him on. I don't want to debate whether the people believe or disbelieve in that process. And guys, that's fine. I know that I personally use those in my personal career and my official career. And it solved a lot of issues that I had in those cases. So I'll leave it up to you guys. We all have good common sense here, the common sense hat. But I wanted to bring Craig in, introduce him to the community, because as we move forward, Dewey, I anticipate bringing Harper back onto the show because I'm sure we're going to have a need for it before we're over with. There's going to be a case come up. That's going to be a topic. And we can actually get in there and flush it out with Craig Harper. So, guys, I'm trying to introduce people to the community that we can pull information from on future cases as well. So I saw a couple comments in there, Dewey. How's this going to bring Nancy back? It quite possibly could break the case. It could possibly develop leads through a polygraph to determine someone's either A, telling the truth or being untruthful. So it has its place, guys. I wanted to bring it to you guys. What do you think?
I think that was very informative. You guys, the questions that didn't get answered, he couldn't, he only had so much time tonight, but definitely remember that there's always times that they can come back. So I think I tried to ask a broad question and he gave us more of an answer than probably what we were looking for. So I do appreciate that very much.
And keep in mind, guys, maybe we'll line up in the future. I'll get a guess that if they don't have TikTok, Craig doesn't have TikTok. There's a way through OBS, I believe I can video someone in and get them on the screen so you guys can see them. And maybe the next guest, if it's someone of interest, we can get maybe a full hour I'll put that together and work hard on that. Most of these people we're calling in, they're working in the private sector just as much as they worked for the government. So, I want to keep it right at a 30-minute interview if possible to respect their time. So, apologize for the short interview, but I think it was a barn burner in terms of what we've learned.
I 100% agree. Did you guys enjoy that? Was that something that? Yeah.
So catch us up. What's the breaking news? Any new news? Before you answer that, I'm going to tell you guys something. I said it, I think it was last night. My concern in this, we're going to start losing media attention. We're going to start losing streamer attention and the YouTubers. Those people are out there not getting paid. I had a call with a network. I won't mention the network. Yesterday that said, hey, if you have plans to go out and enjoy the evening, go do it, because we're not covering the Nancy Guthrie case. That's a major network, guys. We're gripped, invested into this thing. We're on the edge of our seats. We're biting our nails and doing whatever, right? There are people, unfortunately or fortunately, that are watching the news that really aren't interested. They see the headline she's missing. They're like, oh my goodness, that's terrible. But a large percentage of the viewers, both on local and network TV, after about 3 or 4 days, it's like, okay, let's move on. There's other news to cover. So my point is, Dewey, I said this last night, we're going to lose the attention of the media. And I don't know what that's going to do in terms of drawing attention and keeping the attention on Nancy Guthrie. But they're packing up. They're picking up their tripods. They're taking up their live sticks. And there were a bunch of people that left today.
And speaking, we actually talked about this earlier in my live. I think there's a positive and a negative to that, as we talked about the JonBenet case and how maybe media hurt that case. Do you feel like that's maybe the case in this? Maybe if some of them leave, maybe it could help the case? Or
I mean, the horse is out of the barn at this point. This case has grown international attention through all the media outlets, whether it's mainstream media, YouTube's, what have you. I mean, we have people in this chat right now from all over the world. So everyone is vested in this that has seen it. We all can relate to that. But to answer your question, I don't think it's going to matter either way. But here's where I'm concerned, Dewey. If the media leaves, and we're not getting any press conferences from Sheriff Nanos, right? You're not going to see a press conference from him until, in my opinion, they either A, find Nancy, or B, make an arrest. I don't think we're going to hear any more from the sheriff in that term. He may do a few interviews. But where I'm going with that is there are people in Mexico. Newsmax has been in Mexico for most of the day yesterday. There's literally people in Mexico who have no clue who Nancy Guthrie is, right? So, and I can promise you that you can go somewhere in the United States, in multiple cities, multiple little towns, the coal miners, the steel mill workers, the auto mechanics, the people that are working 2 and 3 jobs, the single moms, the single dads, they may not have heard it yet. I guarantee you could find that, right?
Right.
That's the double-edged sword. And that's why I think they need to stay on point at what's the time limit? Do we give it another week? Do we give it 2 weeks? You're talking about a human life.
Right.
There's no time for that, right?
No time frame, sure.
So it's a double-edged sword for me. I mean, who knows?
So do you think maybe them being out there, though, has caused some riffraff with the neighbors, or?
Well, to hell, I don't say this word, to hell with the neighbors. It's a highly profile case. So, if someone's parked on Bob's or Nancy's grass, or no pun intended, Susie's grass, oh well, too bad. I don't really care about the neighbors, but here's what I do care about. The media got really too close. We heard that from Detective Rick Lallemand. We've heard it from, I think, Tim Miller even addressed that. And I've certainly raised that complaint. The media were too close. That road should have been closed off, period. No one should have been up and down the road. You set up a checkpoint, and if you live on that road, guess what? You can go through. If you don't, you're not getting through. That's where they screwed up doing.
Okay. And I agree with that. I mean, we had talked about, if that had happened in my area, I know that it would be rough for me because I have animals that would, react to that. So I didn't know if maybe that's something they could think about then, as media should be more thoughtful of people around them.
Never happened.
No.
Media stories sell, and it's big business, right? And
Oh, sure.
but let me, I like to flush it out. Let me ask you a question. God forbid it's your family member that's missing. Would you really care if the news truck guy parked on someone's lawn next to you? No, it's your family member missing, right?
Right.
So, I look at it from that aspect. I'm not calling you out either. I'm just kind of giving an example, right? Because the first thing is, no, I wouldn't care, right? So, the media has a place, but it doesn't belong in the front yard. It doesn't belong taking pictures of a crime scene that close, because here's the deal. It is going to hurt the case when it goes to court, if it ever goes to court. And a good defense attorney is going to crucify the prosecution. Trust me.
We discussed that earlier. I've seen a couple of comments about somebody talking about the glove and maybe some red stuff on a glove found. I don't know I've not seen that in any.
I have not seen that today, and nor have I received a text from anybody at Fox. So that's new news to me.
Okay,
if somebody
Shane.
has that, let's bring them up.
The only other thing I had was, did you see that they are saying maybe some new sets of eyes to come on?
Somewhat, I missed it.
Some new sets of eyes to come on.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The Pima County Sheriff's Office owns that case. They're not going to. The sheriff is. Look, guys, you've seen me change over the last couple of nights in terms of being critical. And I'm going to continue that because I think you guys tune in to hear the truth, in my opinion, as we share all your opinions. This sheriff, his ego is taller than the Empire State Building, and there is no way in the world he's going to let anyone come in and assume any role in that investigation. He's going to maintain it. He's going to control it. It's going to be his department, Dewey. The FBI is there to only do what the FBI is invited to do. They're not in charge. They're there as a resource, as a backup. So, unfortunately, the only way you're going to get a set of fresh eyes is if the family would hire an investigator, independent investigator, public investigator, private investigator, and let that investigator go out there and start digging up for clues. Then you're going to have a rift between the family and the sheriff, but too bad, too sad. But no, he's not going to give that control up to anyone.
I sent you the source just now on that glove, and I believe it is probably fake news.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, guys. Man, there's so much crazy junk. We'll just call it that. I've said this from day one. I do not have all the answers. Do not. Not a Harvard graduate, but I've just got a little bit of experience like you guys in these cases, and just use your common sense. If you see that stuff out there, man, before you hit send and share that stuff, just make sure it's legit. I mean, do a little due diligence on it, but that's kind of how I like to operate.
And I can say our community has been really good about reaching out and, asking versus telling that this is the information and fact checking things. And that helps cases tremendously. And as far as the reward money, you guys, I don't think that you'll know whether there's been reward money sent from Savannah or not. I think that's part of the case that they will keep very, very private, because if there was money sent and there is people that are investigating it and they find out that money was sent, they're done. They're done. Then that's saying there's no proof of body, no proof of life, and it's over. So I don't think we would know if Savannah had sent money anywhere at all.
You want my opinion on that, dude?
Yes,
I think she paid it.
I do too. I said that today. I said, I think if the ransom has already been paid.
You know, let's take a poll. I love polls. I love hearing from the people, right? There may be some people in the chat would say, hey, Jamie's way off base on this one. Let's take a poll. Has the money been paid? Yes or no? And let's see what our family says, the community, the Crime Network family. I love that name. Let's do that poll if you can do it to throw it up here, and let's see what happens. But personally, we've covered this a couple of times on the live streams. If it was your family, especially if it's your mom, your grandma, let me tell you something. If I had to go and literally rob a bank or an armored car to get that money, you'd see JC on the headlines for bank robbery because they're going to get the money.
Right.
If it was my mom. I mean, I don't think
I think by her last video and with as emotional as she is, I don't want to say this, but I feel like she knows the inevitable. And I think that she has paid it. She didn't get anything back and is just absolutely sick because even if there were a body, there's a little bit of closure. There's not going to be any closure if it's never found.
Yeah, and you know, I spoke with a friend of mine. Now, keep in mind, law enforcement people are of a different breed, guys. And in order to survive 20, 25, 30 years in that job, you have to have a sense of humor. If not, you'll be unseen soon. Trust me. But I had a friend of mine I was talking to today about that, and he's like, if she's not here, and you guys know, I don't think I can say that word, right? If she's unalive, right? He's like, why would you pay $6 million for a bunch of bones? Because it's what it's going to be, right? Decomp. That body is not going to look like Nancy Guthrie if in fact that's happened, right? But you know, that's a sense of humor it's a sick sense of humor, but it's a cop sense of humor, right? And we got into a little tussle about that. I'm like, you're telling me if your mom was in this position, you wouldn't rob a bank to get her back? And he's like, I really don't know if I knew that she wasn't with us anymore. So, I mean, there are people, Dewey, I guess, that maybe think that they wouldn't spend the money. I would to get my mother's body back. I would walk through hell and fire.
They're saying that the glove that they're speaking of was from 4 News station in Tucson, Arizona. And that there was a glove and some red stuff next to the glove.
Gotta change glasses. I don't even know I had the headphones on. Guys, if you don't know, I get on TV and they're like, where's your glasses? There's a glare, so I wear my TV glasses. They don't have any lens.
Also, while you're looking that up, have you seen the case out of Ohio that happened on the 16th of February?
I had seen a blurb of it.
And a 2013 American Idol contestant has unalived his wife. And the motive was cheating.
That's a good motive for some people. It happens.
And his attorney asked for his bail money to be lower so that he could go to the funeral.
That's pretty odd.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the deal. Yeah, I was talking to somebody about what we're doing here on TikTok, and you know, I love the geopolitical battle. I like mixing it up, man.
Felicia, his name is Caleb Flynn. You can look him up, and his wife's name is Ashley Flynn.
But there's enough content, Dewey, to keep this channel going on for the next 100 years. The content, unfortunately, is never going to go away.
No.
But you know, it brings awareness, right? We help bring awareness. We help flush this stuff out. So
yes, and they had 2 young daughters, guys. 2 young daughters. And he was arrested very quickly. We had talked about it, and they said they need to send those detectives to Arizona.
Guys, I'm going to tell you something. And look, I do not do a lot of things well in life. I don't eat well. I don't sleep well. If you're not in my inner circle, I kind of like you're in my outer circle. I don't treat people that I don't trust well, right? It's that trust thing, right? It's how I was brought up, trained. But what I do well is this job. Guys, I'm telling you, if I could handpick 10 people and get on a flight and go out there, and this case can be solved. This is a solvable case, man. If you had the right people. So, Dewey, I wish we could jump on a plane and go out there and solve this thing, because I think it could be solved in about 10 days.
I agree.
I truly do.
I definitely agree.
Hey, so the poll is on the money being paid overwhelmingly. Well, wait a minute, not overwhelmingly. It's 61 to 38%. So 61% of the people would pay it, or say it has been paid. I'm sorry. 38% says the money has not been paid. So 60-30 on that. So that's a good poll. I mean, that's pretty accurate if you go and listen to America. Some people think yes. Some people have, my mom says, no, they haven't paid a dime. That's my own mom. She's in her 80s.
Right.
So,
somebody else asked today too, while we were talking about it, if she has a power of attorney, that they believed that if she had life insurance, she had to have a power of attorney. And that's not the case.
No.
And I told them that with a strong-willed elderly woman, and you can probably speak to this, Jamie, it's hard for them to give power of attorney to a child. I mean, that's like signing your life away. So I believe that there was probably no power of attorney for her. With as independent as they say she was, I don't think that there was a power of attorney.
I would tend to agree with that. But also, I could see that possibly happening, Dewey. And I'll tell you why. We'll flush it out. I don't know what her net worth is. I haven't taken the time to look. Somebody knows.
I looked it up, and I think it was like just right out 1 million.
So, she doesn't have a lot of money compared to, right? Mm-hmm. Compared to Savannah. Estimated 40 million, right?
Right.
That property is got to be worth some money. You have siblings. And then when you have a passing of a parent or both parents, there are always some type of squabble in properties and monies and investments. So I don't know. I tend to agree with you that she did not have a power of attorney. She wasn't really a business lady, right?
Mm-mm.
So, I could see her being old school. I know that it took, I'll share a little personal story. It took my mom, my father passed away. It took her about 5 years after his passing before she said, hey, you guys need to meet me at the attorney's office. We're setting up the trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it took a lot for her to do that. And she's very strong-willed.
Yes, we did know that she has a trust, you guys, but just because she has a trust doesn't mean that she has to have a power of attorney.
Nope.
It's not a law. I know.
No, sir. But I guess in this thing, what really concerns me is I think we're gonna lose some momentum in terms of the media attention. That's concerning. Let's hop on the Mexico subject real quick. Can we?
Yeah. Do you want me to let people up in the box for that, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. But let me give you my point of view on that thing. I saw in Discord today that we were talking a little bit about Mexico and the cameras and what it would take, passports, not passports. Guys, I can tell you right now, there are many places along that border. You can literally go through and no border protection. There's no wire, there's no wall, there's no canal, there's no river. There's also entries of points of entry into Mexico that you literally go through the gates. No one's really checking your passport. So if you wanted to flee to Mexico, 100% doable, guaranteed. no restrictions. Saw a couple things in there about cameras. Keep in mind, you're dealing with Mexico and the Mexican government, who is corrupt. The infrastructure down there is horrible. And it's my understanding, according to our own Border Patrol, that their cameras aren't even working. So you could essentially go south of the border and be undetected, guys. Is that's pretty scary. So I mean, if you wanted to take Nancy Guthrie down there, you could do that. Now, getting back across may be a little different story, right? But to
Right.
get her out of the country, get in a car and drive. It's that easy. It's an hour. I think it was an hour and 15, 18 minutes from her house, and you're in Mexico. So undetected.
Hey, really quickly, I talked to Jamie last night. I got a message from somebody that said that they would like for people to maybe not stay in the box for a little bit of time. And I just wanted to show you guys that there are different people that come in the box, but if you just noticed, all the boxes were full and they all dropped out. And I think a lot of that is because they're scared to be in the box. So I try to rotate and put as many different people in the box as possible. But Jamie and I did talk about it, and I have asked my room different times today if they would like to do that. And they did say that that is a good idea. If we went for an hour or so and they put questions in the chat and I would ask you the questions.
Let's. I'm going to be measured in my answers. I'm going to be to the point. Boom, and let's see if we can set a new goal of how many people we can run through the chat, and don't want to shortchange anyone, but let's see how many we can get through in the next 25 minutes, just to see.
Okay.
Guys,
I don't know who was first. Tanya, do you want to start us off? Just, we're familiar with you, and
guys, if you're coming in the box, be ready to hit that unmute button, please. So that's taking up a little bit of time too, guys.
Sure. Good evening.
Hey,
Jamie, you had mentioned earlier, I think Dewey had stated that there was a report out that they were rotating agents for new, fresh eyes on the case. It was reported tonight on NBC Nightly News with Kelly O'Donnell that the FBI is rotating agents per the FBI. And she also talked to the Attorney General of Arizona, and there was a statement from her stating that this is by far not close to a cold case, which is great news.
yeah, I covered that on the news the other night. I mean, the news asked me point blank. I mean, we're nowhere near a cold case status. That's number one. Number two, keep in mind those special agents are all over from the U.S. There's 2 or 3 international special agents from the FBI on the ground in Tucson that have special skills, right? Some of those people have been sleeping in cars. They've been sleeping in their clothes. I mean, they're working 18, 20 hours a day, right? So that's not uncommon for those agents to be changed out. What you're going to find, though, are specialty agents that have specialties. Those guys and those men and women will stay on that scene until they're not needed any longer. But for the lack of, the evidence response team, they're going to change those folks out so they can go home and see their families, wash up, and what do they need to do. So that's very common in these types of cases. But what you're not going to see is, unfortunately, the sheriff's not going to relinquish. He's going to keep this case. I mean, it's never going to go outside of his jurisdiction. But I'm glad the director of the FBI sees the work these people are doing and changing them out. I mean, good gracious, we're at day 20 and they've been out there for what, 18 days, 17 days. So yeah, I think that's encouraging because you need fresh people out there.
Okay, so that's why I was confused, because I didn't know that there was. I mean, I knew that there's different agents that are specialized, but I didn't know what that difference was.
Yeah, you have evidence techs, you have the data collection team there, you have forensics there. Everything we're talking about or looking and seeing, there's a specialty coming from Quantico.
Okay.
To include behavioral people.
Gotcha. Okay.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
Yes, you.
Okay.
Next.
I will drop down. Have a
Yes,
good
ma'am.
evening, everybody.
We're going to try to get through as many as we can, guys. We're on a timer, so let's go. Hey, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes. Hi.
Okay, guys, I may have went out of line, so pardon me. I'm doing the best I can. Hey, go ahead. What's your question?
Hi. I'm sorry. So I'm from New Zealand. I'm 28 years old for TikTok purposes. I just
Welcome.
want to say that your channel, your streams have been absolutely, sorry, kids, be quiet, please. Incredible. Really big fan. I've been watching you actually
And
for a
you're a
number of years.
mom. You're a mom. We can
And
hear.
I'm a mum, yeah. So my main question was, have they thought about the possibility of this coming from a like security company or someone that deals with her medical alert bracelet? I'm not sure what you call them in America. I'm sorry, pacemaker. Sorry. Yeah, like I said, I'm sorry if this has already been covered, but I just I catch up when I can with the time zones being a bit different.
Yeah, we're going to start putting these up on YouTube too, so you guys can see them that are missing. But your question is, could it be somebody connected to her pacemaker or the company or some type of provider? Is that your question?
Yes. Sorry.
No, and thank you. Love New Zealand. I think it's very possible. I mean, it's a whodunit. It's an unknown persons or persons, and that's exactly what these men and women, not only from the sheriff's office but FBI and other agencies, are looking for. Is there a connection? Were there any oddities in that pacemaker? When did she have her last appointment? Did she have a home health care aide come out? But I think your question is good. I think here's how I would answer that. And Rick Lamont, the pro in homicide, answered it just like this: everyone's a suspect until they're not.
Absolutely.
So,
My daughter's father was unalived 9 years ago, and it took 4 days to find him and bring the culprits to justice. And
heartbreaking,
unfortunately,
and our condolences to you guys. I mean, that's just heartbreaking when that happens, especially a violent crime.
Yeah, exactly. And it was disgusting. But I think too, and what you've been saying, which I've just been loving, is we really do have to put the common sense hat on. We have to think, there are things that the law enforcement agencies will not tell us until they know for sure that they are a possibility. So, yeah, like I said, great coverage. I just wanted to ask that question. And from someone who's lost someone, it means a lot that you're putting so much time and effort into this. You do, and Mama T. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And are you in our Discord channel?
No. Hello. Yes, I'm going to join. I've got
that's a good resource for you.
2-year-old, so I better go. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye.
I love that. Kelly, I'm just going down the list here, guys. Kelly, you're up. Hey, Kelly. Kelly.
Live for the bases loaded.
I got something real quick, if you don't mind.
Kelly must be not there.
Live for the high five.
American Papa Fam, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead with your question, please. I'm sorry, I'm not used to
not
doing
a
this part
question.
of it, so I'm learning.
And it's somewhat it is a question. How come there's not a billboard up?
A billboard?
Yeah. I mean, put a billboard. If this might have a connection into Mexico, let's say, but and folks have already reported saying they went into Mexico down there by Nogales, and people are they have no idea, right? How about putting like a billboard just before they go into Nogales on the southbound side of the interstate, and then put a billboard on the north side of the highway of the interstate coming out of, let's say, Nogales. That way people, and offer a reward for this person's return, right?
Right.
Because I really don't think this is going to be solved by just media, right? And for the folks out there that are planting themselves like some kind of plant out there in front of her house, what are they waiting on? For her to walk up?
Yeah, good question. Good question.
Okay. So that there's two things, and I really don't think the facial hair, like the mustache and the goatee or whatever, I don't think it's real because it's shining.
Good point. It's just as valid as anyone else's opinion. I will tell you, the chat was blowing up when you were talking about that. They're telling us that there is, in fact, billboards in that area. And I don't live there. I'm only going on the chat. But let's cover the Mexico issue. Yeah, what a great idea. I've not heard anyone talk about, hey, let's put up some billboards in Mexico. And you know what talks in Mexico, right? Money, right? People are motivated. They're poor.
That's what I'm saying about the reward.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've worked a lot of cases involving the Mexico and that region. And let me tell you what, you offer some Benjamins, you're going to get some answers if they have the answers. So great question, great idea on the billboard. Oh my goodness, look at that. That threw me off. I'm sorry. Somebody put a piece of this amazing thing in my thing. The billboard's a great idea, but thank you. Real quick, where are you from?
I'm out here in Missouri.
Missouri. Love Missouri. All right, my brother, thank you, and thank you for your service.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for the support, and have a good day.
You too, brother. Guys, thank you for the support. Thank you for the likes. Dewey, I don't know how to read the numbers, but I know we're up there a little bit. But guys, thank you for supporting the channel and sharing it. I saw a lot of shares today. Get the word out, guys, because I think it's the healthiest community on TikTok, man. I'm just humbled by the people.
You're muted, Dewey.
Thank you for telling me. Anybody
welcome.
that's in here, we are at 300,000 likes, 700 people. And if you guys are in here and can drop a heart me, that is perfect. Perfect.
Jamie's still shocked.
What's up there, Honest Review?
Hi, Jamie. How are you? Dewey, how are you?
I'm doing well, sister.
I'm good. My name is Bernadette, actually. I'm from Philadelphia. Your platform's amazing. I've been watching since Mama T and Dewey started it. I'm going to join your Discord. My question is that why hasn't there been any boots on the ground?
You mean searching?
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? If I could hire you, if I could afford to hire you, I'd hire you and take you down there and we'd do the search ourselves. Good question. We covered that. We've covered, I think, on every live, right? It's just
I just don't get it.
Mind-boggling, right? Why?
Yes.
Why? But I'm going to ask you a question. Don't follow what you see, follow what you don't see. Identify what we're not seeing. We're not seeing searchers. We're not seeing organized searchers. I know for a fact Fox Digital had the drone up in the Catalina foothills. They did an extensive search, and I think they were there. I think they were today or yesterday with forestry and 2 helicopters. I know that someone had put in the Discord that they were a helicopter up flying. That was, from my understanding, that's going to be probably forestry utilizing their resources, right? Federal government. But I know what you're talking about. You're talking about these massive volunteered organized searches that we're not seeing. I promise to keep my answer short. Here's another question for the chat. If you were the neighbor of Nancy Guthrie, or you went to church with Nancy Guthrie, would your organization not be out searching for the poor woman? So great question.
Yeah, that's my question.
I knew the answer.
That's what I don't understand. All them people at church and nobody put a search thing together at all that I've seen. No, you know.
I mean, we're not seeing that. So it may be happening behind the scenes, but we're not seeing it in the public. But here's real quick, and I promise to go quick because we got to go. If that was happening, the media's everywhere. We would see that.
I'm sure. That's what I was thinking. We would see that, especially with everybody out there. But anyway, thank you so much for your platform. I appreciate it so much.
Thank
You're
you.
amazing.
We appreciate you.
Oh,
absolutely.
Hoka, burning love. I got that Elvis thing. That's amazing. How does that thing? All right, come on. Let's go, Dewey.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Get him through.
Let's go. Beth, you're already unmuted. Let's go ahead and go. Woo, hat mustache. Let's go.
Howdy, partner.
Beth, are you with us?
Hey, Beth. Hey, Beth, you're live. Where are you from? Oh, Beth.
Okay, Hong Kong, are you there?
Hong Kong. Let's rotate them out.
Is anybody that's on mute and up here, are any of you guys wanting to be up here and able to speak? If you are, go ahead and unmute.
I am.
Arlene,
Arlene.
There we go. Thank you.
Hi, I'm from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Hey, good. Thank you for being here.
Yes, absolutely. So I wanted to address the media leaving the area. Brian from Newsmax was on yesterday, and he was saying that the sheriff called in 10 reporters for 10 minutes to ask questions, and that the questions weren't always consistent answers from different reporters. In your opinion, do you think the sheriff is trying to undermine the media and he actually wants them to leave?
Yes, I do. But family, can I be blunt one time? You guys have seen, I swear I'm a nice guy, but sometimes I have to be blunt. If I can be blunt, light the chat up with ones. You know my personal opinion, Arlene, on that? Arlene?
So I'm here.
I think the sheriff is just stupid. I think he's in over his head. I don't think they're this master plan of deception. Let's keep the media guessing. We know who's done it. We know where she's at. I'm not buying it at this point. And real quick, and I promise to be quick, you hit the nail on the head, and that's why I'm telling you guys, I think he's just over his head. Giving different answers is not what the American people need right now, because he's losing confidence by the day. Going back to Fox Digital, they did a poll, I think it was yesterday. The confidence level was at an all-time low. And let me add to that, one of the media outlets, I don't know, somebody, interviewed a union president or union member of that union out there. He worked for the Pima County Sheriff. He, in fact, did a poll on the sheriff's confidence level with the troops, and overwhelming. The troops had no confidence in the guy. It was a no confidence vote. So to answer your question, I think he's over his head. I think he needs to move on quickly from that job and let somebody get in there that can do the PR and get the right message out. But thank you for that. It was a great question.
No, thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. As you were, are you there?
I'm here. Hi, I'm calling from Boston, and I started an interview recently with a former police officer that worked under the current sheriff, and he was commenting about the low morale and that a lot of the staff has transferred out of his department to go elsewhere. And then last year with the FBI, because of the change in the administration, a lot of FBI agents left. Do you think maybe there's not enough staff or inexperienced staff or too young that may be having an impact on this investigation and how long it's taking, or no?
I mean,
Thank you.
I spoke to someone that's out there that I trust and rely on credible information. I mean, there's some pretty good investigators assigned to this case that have been there for a while. A lot of people think that, the whole department's like 2 years and younger, right? I'm not hearing that from the reliable sources. There are some seasoned investigators that are working there from the Pima County Sheriff's Office, but the problem is not the detectives. The problem is the leadership, in my opinion. I'm just not seeing a leader taking control of this investigation and running it as a leader, which means you're going to support your troops, support the message. I think it's more of a leadership issue than a personnel issue.
Okay, interesting.
That's just my opinion. You may have a difference. I don't know.
Okay. All right, just
Do
curious.
you agree? Disagree?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Do you agree or disagree?
I think it's maybe a combination of both, to be honest
Okay.
with you.
And I always like to ask, because I don't know it all. You
Right.
guys know more
Right.
than
And I don't know the numbers of, who people who have left in either agency or the department, but I was just wondering if it's kind of just both of those factors maybe adding to the problems with the investigation, that's all.
Yep. And the obvious is, the sad part is day 20. Where's America's grandmother, right? I mean, it's just ripping.
I know, it's heartbreaking.
But thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
They are wanting to know in the chat, why is the porch pirate not on America's Most Wanted?
the porch pirate.
I'm guessing they're talking about the guy that's on the camera.
Oh, I thought you literally meant I mean, this chat is blowing up with crime, right? They talk about a lot of cases. You caught me there, Dewey. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. Here's what I can add to that. The local Crime Stoppers voiced concern. The individual that's over Crime Stoppers out there voiced concerns that they weren't even included or invited as they normally would. They were not really being fed a lot of the information like they normally would on all these other cases. So they took Crime Stoppers took it upon themselves to include themselves, right, and put themselves in the mix. So this case is on Crime Stoppers now. It wasn't for a couple of days. So America, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. You guys should, our network should email and ask why the case isn't on there.
That's a good thing. I mean,
blast it.
You guys are asking these questions when you get the answer. If you feel like you can reach out and make that happen, then let's do it.
Put them on blast and tell them you came from the People's Crime Network. We want to know why the case is not on that website.
Meemaw, are you there?
I am here. Hi,
Hello.
Good evening, y'all.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I had two questions. One, kind of a question and kind of like a thought in the process of it. These interviews that the sheriff is doing, this is kind of my thought, and Jamie, you kind of give me an idea if I'm right or wrong here. He's doing these individual interviews. So he's most likely pre-screening these questions that he's being asked. Is this to avoid him doing, I mean, when a press conference happens, yes, they can just make a statement and walk out, but they're going to probably most likely be asked some questions or something. Is this something to avoid being asked a question that he'll have to say, we're not going to answer that right now, to give people ideas of what could be going on and so forth?
I mean, possibly. I think it's a great question. It's a great thing to ponder, right? Who wants to, I've been to live pressers. I've done live pressers behind and in front of the microphone. Who wants to attend a press conference? You get the media. It's a lot to get set up. Stations will break in live for that press conference on a routine basis. And, to get the person behind the microphone says, I can't comment on that. I have no comment, nothing to share on that. So, that possibly could be. And if that's the case, I'll have to give the sheriff credit. As much as I'm critical of the sheriff, if that's really the true reason why the pressers aren't happening, my hat's off to him. Realistically, there's not a lot of news that they can report, not a lot of facts they can report. So, I'm going to go back and take up for the sheriff when he needs to be acknowledged. And I think he's well measured in his speeches or his press conferences, and that's very good possible. I like that.
And then my other one was, when they do a polygraph, do the results differ from tester to tester, like how they read the test? Or are they all read the same way?
I don't know the answer to that. I wish we would have asked Craig that. But I tell you what, I'll get the answer and I'll put it in Discord, if not tonight, tomorrow, and I'll put it in big bold letters so everybody can see it. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome,
Did you
Mima.
drop me?
Yes.
Thank you,
I
dear.
actually sent that to Jamie, you guys. The other report of her missing on a different day. And unless we can find a credible source, we're not even going to put that information out there. I saw that it was posted from another social media site, and I don't know what the true sighting on that is. So,
Dewey, how many people are we through so far?
I would say that was probably number 11?
Let's get 5 more. I mean, rapid. Let's do 5 more rapid. And not to cut you short, but rapid.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I'm reading messages too. I have some in the messages that I can ask you. Jeff, are you there?
Yep.
Hey,
I'm
Jeffrey.
here.
How are you, sir?
Hey, good. How are you guys?
Good.
Good. So my question is, on the Nest camera on the front, is there audio to those?
Should be. Absolutely.
And why aren't we hearing that?
Same question I could ask. Why have we heard the 911 call? I think there are audio in there that potentially could be revealing, that could maybe give up something they don't want to give up, Jeff. and that's why we haven't heard the audio. Now, and let me back up for a minute. That those cameras allegedly were not being subscribed to the cloud, right? When we first heard about the cameras, it was purported by the sheriff that it wasn't subscribed to the cloud, so there are probably no video, right?
Right.
I will say this, that the audio file on that camera or that footage could have been corrupted, and maybe they couldn't recover it. But my better guess is they're holding that and not releasing it intentionally. But I would want to believe, Jeff, their audio on that.
Yeah, I would agree. And I would think that the other cameras, they probably have stuff on and they probably just don't want to release it.
Yeah, I mean, those cameras inside, in my opinion, have told the story. We don't know if it's going to identify who's responsible, but that they know what happened in there.
Agreed.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Somebody in the chat asked, is it possible that maybe she would be in a body of water?
Yeah, I mean, in the past, I have, in my career, I've probably recovered 3 bodies, I think, maybe 3 or 4, that were placed in water. One was, this is going to sound cold, guys. Some of those bodies could be floaters. We call them floaters. If they're not tied down and weighted down, they're going to float, right, and come to the surface. I see them right here in front of my house all the time. People, unfortunately, go out and drown in the ocean. They can't find them right away, but eventually they float back to shore, right? Going back to the mob days, I mean, the mob was very good at weighting people down with bricks and cinder blocks and cement and tying them down. But then again, if decomp occurs, I'm not a scientist or a crime scene guy, but common sense, if decomp occurs and you have that person weighted down, parts of that body is going to corrupt itself and fall apart,
yes.
And you're going to float. The only way to do that is if you would put them in a container and sink them.
There you guys go. Next, whoever unmutes, you guys can go ahead.
I'm going to go really quick. Sorry, it's the Kiwi again. How are we?
Hey, welcome. Where are you from?
New Zealand. Sorry, I'm the mum from before.
Oh, there you are. Okay, I had to put my glasses on.
No, neither do I. Give me 1 second. There we go. I just have a really, I guess, I don't want to say obscene, maybe out of the box thought. So I know that when my ex-husband was unalived, before they obviously found him and came up with an investigation, they offered, I guess, sort of incentives, not just monetary, but they sort of blurred the lines in the type of innocence that he was going to get when he was found, like the perpetrator. Could that be something that they could be considering? Offering quiet incentives that we, the public, maybe do not know about?
Just the last part, there were a little bit of noise in the background. I didn't hear the last part of the question.
Sorry, I'm shaking. This kind of thing makes me so
No,
upset.
relax. No, this is a family thing.
I was just wondering that could there be incentives that the police and the detectives and law enforcement are offering under the table that we as the public do not know about?
I got you. Let me go with that. Yeah, absolutely. Here's the deal. Here's how that works in the U.S. Now, I don't know how it works in New Zealand. When I was investigating any type of a terror, I'm not supposed to say that, but the T people, you know what I'm saying? The TE
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Those, or when I was back in the undercover narcotics days, or money laundering, whatever the case was, right? You may have a reward for that initial case.
Yeah.
Let's use this case as an example because that's what we're here for. We know that there's $100K currently being offered by the Department of Justice or the FBI. If you develop informants, and we all have informants, if I was working this case and I had an inkling that they're south of the border, I'm going to take a pile of cash down there with me and start throwing out money to credible people that will talk to me, that are going to go and spread the word in the jails, the prisons, in the hood, if you will. And like I said, you're going to have, you develop informants and CIs, and you pay those people it's not under the table, but it's not going to be publicly recognized. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, you're right on point.
Yeah, I just think that, yeah, like I said, I know that my husband's unalive was offered not so much monetary incentive, but I think shorter sentences. If you come and see us, we won't arrest you, kind of thing. You know what I mean? They really played the gauntlet with that one.
Real quick, and I'm glad you're following us. Real quick, and I don't think that the community will have an issue with me taking a minute to do this. What's his name?
Thomas
Thomas.
Smith. Yeah. So he
What was his age?
He was only 22.
22. He's a kid, man.
Yeah, we were expecting a first baby at the time, and he was found 4 days later in a body of water at a local school. And unfortunately, he was tied up with the wrong people. Myself, I wasn't, but he just wasn't out of that lifestyle. And I tried to get him out, and it didn't quite work. But my daughter's 10 this year, and she's beautiful. She looks just like her daddy, and she's doing him so proud every day. So
God bless you and your family, and I hope you guys thrive and thrive and thrive. Thank you so much, guys. People in the chat, can we throw some yellow hearts up for this family? And let's remember Thomas. Anytime we hear a victim of a violent crime, it's just heart gripping. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your story, because I'm so humbled. I don't know you. We don't know you. You're a lady from New Zealand with a beautiful, beautiful kid, but you went through a violent crime. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you. And Dewey, I just want to say, your smile every time I come on here during the day, I managed to catch you a few times, and you're a light. You're an absolute light. And Jamie, you're absolutely bloody hilarious, mate. So
well, thank you. Anytime you want to come up, the accent, we love.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me, and I love you guys.
Thank you. We love you.
Bye.
What a great way to connect with people, man. It don't get any better than
I got a question from somebody in here, but through my DM. It said, have you seen the recent post on the Midwest Post Facebook? This was his post 1 hour ago. You can ask Jamie if he has heard anything about it. Quick update. The DNA from the home is from a Hispanic male. The sample is likely from an undocumented or recent migrant due to the lack of IgG matches. A match is very unlikely at this point.
No, that's a good point. Let's operate that it's factual, right? Until we don't know if it's factual or true. We covered this the other night. I mean, CODIS is only as good as the entries into CODIS. And if you're not arrested, you have committed no crime, and you're not, your samples aren't going into that system, you're not going to be identified. Certainly if you're from south of the border and you're over here illegally, or you intentionally come here for this crime and you've never been arrested in the U.S., you're not going to be identified. So, that's a great point. It's a good point.
DC, I don't know that. Do you think that when ICE is doing they're taking DNA from them as they're taking them out, or do you think that's, or you don't want to talk about it?
Let me give you my opinion on that. Yes.
Not to get political.
Well, no, but it's not political at all. It's a good question, because, the fact remains you have legitimate United States white boys just like me committing crimes. You have Black Americans committing crimes, and you have, unfortunately, undocumented people committing crimes. That's the facts. It's not political, in my opinion. I think they are, and I'll tell you why. There's a lot of unsolved crimes, not just homicides, but burglaries, car thefts, carjackings, home invasions, gun thefts. I'm pretty sure they're doing that. I don't know who they're doing it to. I don't know if they have a program to vet those people out, or kind of profile as to who may be involved in crimes. They have some intelligence on some of those people, but I would suspect they are doing that, yes. And I hope they are.
Feisty, are you there?
I'm so sorry, I was tapping. And
that's okay. Feisty. Hey, listen, Feisty, I'm going to give you 2 demerits. You're late. Oh, she went away.
Next, she said she accidentally tapped in the box.
Oh, okay, cool.
Next one, guys. We're doing good. We don't have anybody else in the queue. Oh, now we do. Guys, we're at 400,000 likes, 814 people.
That's crazy. I'm just amazed. I went
Leah,
to
are you there?
store.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead, hon.
So, I'm from Canada, so I think it's a little different
Eh?
up here than it is down there. But this whole case is just off. Like from the beginning with the ransom, usually like they send ransom to, the family, like don't contact the police, don't tell anybody, not send it to news outlets and whatnot. And so that like kind of like threw me off from the beginning with that. And also with the sheriff like coming out and clearing the family and then coming out and saying like at this time, right? um I just want to know, what you think about the family. Like, do you think she ever made it back from her
From dinner.
daughter's yeah, from her, like, did anybody see her?
Yeah.
And it's weird that like it wasn't her family who reported her missing either.
Well,
It
let's
was
let's stop for just a minute, Leah. And thank you. I love Canada. I went fishing up there as a young boy, so love Canada. Let's flush this out for a minute. Um, you and I are hooked up in the good old U.S. of A. And you and I have plotted to kidnap somebody, right?
Mhm.
We want to go on a European vacation. We need some fast money. Leah, let's go get this lady. She's rich. So we go
Right.
grab her. And we have her held somewhere. And you catch me on the cell phone or the email or whatever the case is, sending a media blast that, hey, I'm going to release her for $6 million. What are you going to do to me? What are you going to say?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to get caught, right? So to answer your question, I don't think there's anybody in their right mind that would do that. You just don't put the ransom on blast. You're going to go to the family. It's going to be a private thing, as private as you can get, because you don't want the cops involved, because you're going to get caught. Is my opinion.
Hey, Sarah, if you're in here, I
Okay.
just asked that DNA question and he kind of broke it down. He's not saying that he knows it's true or not. We have not seen a true source on that.
And that was my other thing, the DNA. So in Canada, it's usually only federal charges that they collect DNA from and put it in CODIS. I don't know if it is like that in the States. So it's not even every criminal. It's just literally like federal charges.
Yeah, in the U.S., it's both in the county, state, and federal that are contributing to that database. Let me. You asked me another question. Let me give you my opinion.
Okay.
I think she in fact did make it home. It's my belief that either the bad guy was already there when she got home, and she perhaps interrupted them. My better guess is I think she came home, went to bed, and it's just my theory based on the time of creepy guy on the video. I think he entered the home while she was sleeping, and either she woke up and saw what was happening, or he went and tied her up immediately. We know that there are red shiny stuff in the house. According to the sheriff, there were some type of a struggle in the bed. They were bed clothing disarray. That's when he kind of like spoke when he shouldn't have spoke, right? But I think she did make it home, and I think she was carried out of that house. But I don't think she was with us when she was carried.
Either do I, because they spent so long in there as well. So usually it's like kind of want to get in and out and then take them to wherever you have your spot, right?
Yeah, and I see the chat blowing up, Leah. They're in agreement with you in your analogy. We have the best community, I think, on social media because everybody can agree and we can disagree, but we still agree on being friends. So, Leah, thank you for that.
No problem. I don't know how to get down.
Thank you, Leah. Have a good one. I hear a kid.
Yeah.
Jamie, we were talking about not one person being able to carry her out. Do you remember the Chris Watts case?
Yeah, absolutely. But hold on. I mean, this lady wasn't that huge in stature.
Okay, so you do agree because there's been so many panels saying, it's just not possible because, dead weight is just so, and I do agree with that. A person's weight when they're limp is a lot more. But we've seen a lot of cases where people have carried them out, and Chris Watts himself was just an average size man. He was not anything.
Let's break that down and flush that out for a minute. I mean, let's say let's operate under the theory family, and let me know if you agree with this because it's my opinion. You have your opinion, right? That's why we do the show. If you're there for a home invasion or a robbery or burglary, you may have been watching the house a little bit. You know that she's generally there every night. It's possible the bad guy didn't know she was out to dinner, right? We don't know that, right? For all intents and purposes, he probably assumed that she was there all day, unless you're stalking her and surveilling her all day. But the fact remains, let's say it was a burglary that went awry or went wrong. You're inside. She wakes up. A struggle ensues. And I've maintained from day one, I do not think it was an intentional act. I think it was an accident. I think.
Yes, I agree. I don't think it
Yeah.
was intentional.
No, I mean, operating under the burglary thing, right? Because everybody
Yes.
thinks it's a home invasion or burglary. Under that theory, I've arrested a bunch of people for burglary in my career. I've never met one that murdered anyone, right? So if it's a burglary, I think she either woke up, she heard a noise, maybe got up and came in there, maybe got out of bed, maybe screamed, maybe she was going to hit the 911 thing on her phone. Maybe she did. Maybe we don't know it. A lot of maybes, right? But here's what I think. I think whatever those maybes may be, I don't think it was an intentional unaliving in that house. I think maybe due to a struggle, maybe pushing her too hard and she falls and cracks her head. But you guys in the chat may think differently. But that's operating under as if it's a burglary. If it's a targeted kidnapping, why would you unalive her in a targeted kidnapping? You're not going to get your money, right?
Very
If you
good
guys,
point.
if you
Jessica,
guys
are you
agree with
there?
that.
Amy, are you there?
I am. Thank
Okay,
you.
go ahead, hun.
Hey, thank you, Jamie. Thank you for your lives. I think it's been great. I want to thank the ladies helping you, your mods. Like everything has run great. I think there hasn't been any, like this community seems really inviting. I keep coming back and there's a lot of other lives that aren't like this. And so I appreciate it. And I thank you guys for all you're doing. I know it's hard work. I
Thank
do.
you. And it's your community, so thank you.
We appreciate you guys for being here. We couldn't do it if it weren't for you guys.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you for making it a nice place to be. I appreciate that. So my question is a little maybe general. It's kind of geared towards this case, and so you see news reports in the last day or two that's like Nancy, like Guthrie case, not a cold case. It's not becoming a cold case. So my question, like in general, what makes a cold case? Like when does that happen?
If everything's aligned correctly and you have the right leadership, you have the right team in place, and you have the right guy at the top or the person at the top, doesn't have to be a guy, ladies, the right person.
Right.
You're not going to have a cold case, and I don't think we're anywhere near a cold case status. When you classify one of these cases as a cold case, there's no leads coming in, there's no tips coming in. You're starting to struggle with getting people to talk to you, tips and leads.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, let me go a step further on that. Let's say the tips and leads dry up, and I don't think they will, but let's say they go to zero, right, for the next 3 or 4 days, right? That's concerning, right? I don't think it's ever going to happen, but it's concerning. Here's the deal: out of the many, many hundreds and thousands of tips that have came in, those tips, all of them have not been worked yet. They just don't have the manpower, right? So you've got to go through that process of going through every single tip that's coming in and vet it out. And you triage that tip in a couple of categories. Is it legit? Is it possibly legit? Or is it 100% legit? Or is it totally debunked, right? But here's the process of that. You have to follow up on all of those before you can decide if it's debunked, right? So I think they have a lot of work in terms of just following up on leads and tips. And I would say I don't see anything cold case for the next 30 days on this case. I mean, it's impossible. They don't have the manpower to cover all of it.
Well, yeah, and I agree. I can't imagine that. But
Yeah.
like, is there any guidelines as to when or when is it
Okay, I got you.
classified a cold case? Like,
When you absolutely have no additional investigative leads or efforts to move the case forward, and it's just dead, cold, no
and
pun
who
intended.
decides that? I'm just curious. Like,
Homicide, the homicide
Okay,
supervisor.
okay, okay.
What you're going to do is you're going to have a meeting. Keep in mind these units, whatever specialized unit, talking about the homicide unit, they're going to have a Monday morning meeting every Monday. And you're going to discuss your cases. I mean, this case is an ongoing thing, so not necessarily they would be in the meeting, right? But if it's a regular case, you're going to have a Monday morning meeting. You're going to table your case. You're going to table, hey, we have no leads, we have no suspects, we have no more witnesses to interview. We've done all of the canvassing of the neighborhoods. We look for video, the whole gamut, right?
Okay.
And there's nothing else coming in. I don't like the cold case. I mean, that sounds neat and stuff, but
Well, that's what I'm curious.
but the
Is it
case is
like a
going to be
box checked on a
well.
file, or is it a legal, like, does it get filed away as a cold case? Like,
Yes, after all of
okay,
that, yes, ma'am.
okay, okay. I was just curious,
Yeah.
kind of how that works, because, and not even in reference, I don't think this is anywhere near
No,
to that. Like,
definitely not.
but when you have media shooting that out right now, like, is this a cold case? Like, I mean, I
Let me
know
let,
that that's not what it is, but I
let
was
me
curious about the
let me
process.
interrupt you for real quick about the media.
Yeah, sure.
Let's say the media pick up their tents and they leave tomorrow. I'm telling you right now, there are men and women working this case that are dedicated to the job, dedicated to the mission. If there's zero TV coverage, zero internet coverage on this case, in any
100%.
case, they're going to work that
Yeah.
case until they can't work it. I know that
Yeah,
100%.
and probably a little bit better.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm sorry, but
Maybe.
yeah.
You're close.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. I and it was a general question. It wasn't really specifically about the case, but again, thank you for what you guys are doing and making an inviting place to kind of
You're the
hear
best.
about
Thank
the
you.
case, and I appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
Thank you, Amy. We appreciate you.
Where we at, ladies?
SD.
Yeah, here.
Hey, where are you from and what's your question?
Hi, Jamie.
Hello.
I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Love Minneapolis. Welcome.
Thank you. And shout outs to Dewey for doing everything that she does
Yes.
and moderating on a nightly basis on an average of 1,100 people.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of people. We have a big community. We have a big family.
We do. I came across a TikTok where someone was saying she must be in the aviation industry or somewhere like in an airport location monitoring planes. She said there was a small aircraft that took off from Tucson January 31st at 5:33, or I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember all this. An aircraft came in January 31st at 5:33 p.m. It had left Tucson at 4:20 around p.m. or 4:33 a.m. on February 1st to Mexico. The plane stayed an hour in Mexico and came back. And a short time ago, you had discussed the ocean, the water being a possibility of where it could be a destination to search for. So that kind of plays into this theory also. I'm just curious on your thoughts on how much the FBI or the sheriff's department would look into the aviation industry and also Mexican ties, such as any type of service workers that were at her home that knows somebody that knows somebody. And maybe we aren't getting the answers here in the US because the perpetrators are in Mexico, from Mexico, plan this from Mexico. That's their home base, and that's why we're not seeing anything.
Very, very possible. Couple questions, good questions. Let's do the aviation thing, the plane, real quick. I don't know. I haven't seen that. I've seen a couple of things out there, but let me just answer it this way. And I love doing this because we can take what we're hearing, what we see on social media, and kind of flush it out, right? I can tell you based on my experience and what I know that is being done, they're looking at all of that, especially in any flights. Let's go back to the Charlie Kirk unaliving. There are a lot of crazy conspiracy theories on that case to date. People have their opinion and et cetera. But I know for a fact that the Department of Transportation, the Secretary of Department of Transportation, ordered someone at that field office to go back and review all the FAA files in any flights going and coming from that venue where Charlie Kirk was unalived, right? So that's factual. We know that happened. In this case, I guarantee you they've already done that. The aviation aspect of a ransom, that's the first thing you want to look at. Were there any private flights? Were there any small planes? Was a Cessna nearby? And I've got to tell you, I mean, it's an hour and a half or hour 20 minutes, depending on how fast you drive from Nancy's house to Mexico. You can fly that very quickly, right? It's probably about a 20-minute flight, I would guess. So I think it's a great point. I think it's something that they're looked at or are looking at. It's just, there's so much stuff being put out by people that, and guys, I don't have all the answers. I keep telling you that. But there's some people out here that are putting stuff out that just, I'm learning about this. If you put a bunch of stuff out and get a lot of views, you get like money or coins or whatever, how that works. You guys know what I'm trying to say. It's clickbait. A lot of this is clickbait. And just be careful what you see.
100%. I've been trying to tell people that, especially we went over the 911 call yesterday, and there is no 911 call, but there is tons of videos labeled the 911 call.
Yeah.
There's not a 911 call.
No.
So people do that to get your attraction, to get you to come in, to get you to watch what they're doing. And it's working, but it's not good to do that. It's not helpful in the case at all.
Well, and let's stay on that topic for a minute. And let me tell you something. When we started this thing, and I had no clue, guys, that we would do these types of numbers and we would have this many people staying connected and engaged. I promised myself that if I ever did social media like this, oh my gosh, thanks so much. If I ever did social media like this, I will not do conspiracies. I don't do the clickbait stuff. But here's the other thing, and it's an unsaid rule, none of us should. But the best part, Dewey, and I'm speaking to all of you, Our community doesn't buy. They don't buy into it. They look at the stuff. They ask questions. They flush it out. We've got the smartest community, I think, in social media on all the platforms because our people don't fall for it. They investigate, and I'm just
And I
so
can
grateful for
say,
that.
between our Discord and the messages I get every day from you guys is so helpful just to me because I've been doing a lot of stuff outside of this. I know that you guys haven't seen it, but I am definitely tomorrow fully Discord. But we appreciate all of your guys' fact checking, all the videos that you send me. I appreciate all of that stuff. So definitely, you know, anytime you see that stuff, send it to me. I tried, you can ask Jamie. I've texted him a couple of times today with some of the stuff that you guys have sent me. And, you know, it's just not factual. So if you don't see a fact on it, let's just, you know, we can talk about it, discuss it, but never sit and hang over it. So
Right. I came across that TikTok message and it kind of struck me. And the very first person I thought of was Dewey. I need to send this to Dewey and have her look at it and try to validate it because of the dates and the times from the PM of January 31st and the plane leaving early in the AM around 4 AM February 1st. The tail number, it stayed in Mexico for an hour. I'm like, oh my gosh, this could be a lead. And the TikToker did report it to the FBI. So I just kind of thought it was a theory that I hadn't heard before. And Jamie, I appreciate you explaining the aviation aspect within the investigation. And it's just interesting.
Yeah, it is an interesting. I mean, you know, if it's factual, it's interesting. But as a detective or an investigator, you're going to find out where that flight originated from and what's the tail number, who owns it, who fueled it, possibly who just boarded it, if it came into the U.S. or if it was out. I mean, all of the above. So I promise you, they've already looked at that.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts on this kidnapping would be out of country, to say in Mexico, where it originated from, and that's why the FBI is not finding probable leads as we know it.
Right, and we're basing everything on what we know, right? What's the facts, right? I think it's a fair chance. I mean, that system is pretty good. It's very thorough. The database, CODIS database. But like I said, there are people that are right here that have never been convicted of a crime, and your DNA is not going to be in that database, right? So that could be another thing. But the Mexico thing, I'm one of those guys, and we had Rick Lamont in here 2 nights ago. Everything's on the table until it's not. So I don't discount the Mexican connection at all until it's proved otherwise.
Right. Okay. Well, I appreciate you listening to my
No,
theories and
that's
answering my
appreciate you.
questions. It's my first time on here, so I'm a little bit nervous. But
well, thank you for coming up. We always appreciate you guys coming up. And I hope that this is getting different people in. That was I got some feedback, and I love your guys' feedback too. So any feedback you guys have, if anything you guys would like to do differently or something that you guys think would change it to make it better, definitely send that to me.
Yeah.
Jamie is open to all suggestions, all criticism, as long as it's handled nicely. Anything is helpful. So thank you for coming up.
We just want to grow the channel. Thank you.
Excuse me. I do have one suggestion to make our discussions here a little bit more interactive. Could we have more polls based on people's questions?
Absolutely.
And then the community can engage within the chat and feel like they're a part of the conversation versus kind of like a one-on-one or.
Yeah, you know, I haven't lost sleep over this, but it troubles me. I mean, there's so many people that dedicate, that buy in, that invest their time on this thing, and I don't know of a way to get, unless we did man, I'm about to say it, Dewey, you're about to kill me for this one. I don't know any other way to do this to get that many people through the panel unless we do some. You ready for this, Dewey? Unless we do some marathon for like. I'm thinking.
Like a long live, y'all.
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about.
I'm thinking a marathon may be necessary. Let me know in the chat. I'm open to it. I think it'd be we could have a pajama party.
I
man.
can set
Right
up a
here.
poll for that, y'all.
So yeah, I'm down for it.
But it's unfair that you invest your time and you can't get on the panel. But how do you get 1,000 people, 800 to 1,000, 1,200 people through the panel? The only way that I can suggest is you guys are going to have to police yourself. I'm going to have to police myself in my answers, but we can try, and I keep saying rapid fire, come into the chat. Maybe we'll try it tomorrow night. Come into the chat, ask one question, make it a short question, and as soon as your question is asked, drop yourself off, and let's see if, let's do a challenge. You ready?
Okay.
Let's see if we can do 200 people from 8 o'clock tomorrow night until 10. That's 100 people per hour. I mean, guys, get in, ask, and drop yourself. Next person. I'm good for that if you guys want to try it. Is that
right now? I have one question, and you can boot me.
I don't like booting people though.
My question is, everybody keeps asking about like when's this going to get switched to a cold case or blah blah blah. I don't know if this is the same question and just in different formation or what, but when will it change from a kidnapping search to a kidnapping rescue? Because that would be considered the same thing as a cold case?
No, absolutely not. I mean, if a rescue would be someone's with us and alive, right?
It would have to be a recovery.
Right?
Recovery, yes.
I don't. None of that has to do with any of the cold case part of it. The cold case is the investigation into the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie. The ransom is certainly part of that. But, when you're trying to recover her, the homicide people have broken this thing down in different units or different groups, right? You're going to have people that are tied directly to the case that are interviewing people, going through the evidence, working leads, working tips. And then you're going to have a second set of people that are coming up with areas of possibilities. We don't know what they have. They immediately pinged the kids in California on that second ransom note that was fake, right? I mean, immediately. Boom, they're in cuffs, busted out the door. So, you're working in multiple teams. I don't know if it's a recovery or a rescue mission. I truly, I don't know the answer to that. I hope it's a rescue mission. That means she's here and with us, right?
Just that pops in my head because they're not doing searches, and there's have you ever seen where they don't do a search for somebody that has been kidnapped?
Never.
That's the strange thing about this. That's the keynote to what they're not telling us, I believe, of what is happening here. It has to be. Why aren't they searching?
Yes,
they've done a few, but I think it seems like it's enough to just like suffice the media and everybody that's watching, because they're not doing it hot and heavy at all.
No. I'm not even going to take a stab on that. I can't answer it. I mean, we talked about that. We've beat it in the ground. Why haven't we seen the searches? I mean, either A, we'll break it down and go to the next caller. I'm going to give you your answer in the way I want to answer it. Either A, they have something suggesting that she's not with us any longer, right? Or B, it's they have something indicating proof of life that she's alive and being held, right? Either one of those, you wouldn't really need to do any searches visibly. You're going to do searches in a undercover capacity through digital, through surveillance, through informants. So I don't know. That's, get a coin out.
Telling the public that, would that impede their investigation if we knew that one piece of evidence, do you think?
No, I wouldn't want that out at all.
Okay.
No. Nope. Because if there are multiple people involved in that and somebody knows that you have that information and you've put that together, they may panic. And if she is with us, they could very well panic and make it where she's not with us and ditch the area. So yeah, you wouldn't want that out.
Okay. You're so knowledgeable, Jamie. Thank you for.
But hold on, I don't know everything.
I realize that, but you give a very knowledgeable opinion. We'll just keep it that way.
But listen, this is the only thing I want for Christmas from you people, the family. We need to all get common sense hats and put them on.
We're going to make some stickers, and we're going to have Jamie upload those. I'm going to have to talk him through of how to upload.
Just use your common sense with what we know that's factual, and you'll come up with something. There's a poll here.
Dewey, can you drop me, please?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming up.
Thank you, Dewey.
Okay, everybody is on this question. There is, I guess, it's a developing story on the glove. Demands, and they found a passerby is saying a volunteer found gloves with the stuff on them. Do you think that is...
Dewey, I got to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I love you like a sister. Be careful what you say. Can you see this poll?
No, I can't see it.
All right. The Marathon Live poll just kicked up. I'm sorry to interrupt you because what you're saying is very important.
You're okay.
Marathon Live, 95% says yes, with only 4% that says nope. What is a Marathon Live? Does that even happen here?
We can find out.
Bring your lunch. All right, I'm sorry. That glove thing is important.
Pack a lunch, guys. Pack a lunch. Dude, that's what it'll be called.
A Marathon Live. We're going to do it. We're going to make it happen.
First off, we're at 565,000 likes, 800 people in the room. Everybody's been dropping their heart me's. I love that. Everybody has sent me a lot of the same questions. So you guys that are in the chat, I've had a lot of the same video, a lot of the same picture. It is about the glove that was found with the red stuff on it. And they want to know what your opinion is on it.
Can you give me another way? Can you form that in another question? I didn't understand that. I'm sorry. I was reading something from Fox.
No, you're okay. I've been sent some pictures. They're saying that a volunteer found gloves with red stuff on them. Do you, what's your opinion on it? Do you think that it...
Well, let's be investigators. Do we know how far from the Guthrie home that was found?
There is a map. And this is, let me expand the box.
Okay, I see. You can hold up for everybody. Let me start answering it. Let me tell you something. If I was an investigator and someone came forward and says, hey, we just located a glove on the side of the road, or whatever the case is, the glove appears to be the same color or the same type or the same type of substance of the glove used in the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie. All hands on deck. You're going to head out there and you're going to collect that glove. You're going to get statements from whoever found it, blah, 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 right? You cannot pass that up. If that's factual and that's true, that's amazing. So now you have a glove of interest found a couple, 3 days ago that was sent to the lab. If this glove is in fact close to the glove used in the kidnapping, you have that glove in a different area. So now you have two gloves in two separate areas. That kind of gives you maybe a mode of travel would come to mind. Do we have any, probably not, but do we have any houses nearby? Do we have any traffic lights nearby with traffic cameras, ring door video, yada, yada, yada. I think you're going to fall. And that's a great find if that's factual, because it encourages me that now we have the first glove found at 123 Elm Street or whatever the address was on that side of the road. But now we have a second glove. And I mean, that's huge. That's huge. I would vest to say that if it's connected to the crime, you're not just driving around Arizona throwing out two gloves. So that tells me that's possibly the mode that they escaped with Nancy Guthrie. That's a home run if it's factual.
They're wanting to know if the rain would affect the DNA on that glove.
It could. It could. But keep in mind that here's an example. So, I think, I don't know what expert we had on here, one of the detectives, but you guys that have worn latex gloves like that, what's the purpose of wearing latex gloves? To keep your hands free of whatever you're handling, whether it's, cutting up meat, handling a crime scene, handling whatever, right? You don't want to contaminate yourself by just pulling the gloves off, right? So it's a pretty common sense thing to take your thumb or take something and get under that glove, and you're going to go in from the inside out, and you're basically turning that glove inside out when you remove it, right?
And I think we had a guest that talked about
exactly
the glove and the removal of the glove and how it would be found.
Yeah, once again, put your common sense hat on. We've all, at one point, had a pair of rubber gloves on. They're icky, sticky, cleany, hard to put on, sometimes hard to take off. You'll get a little bit of air bubble, and you have to grip those things and rip them off. I don't know anyone that does this. Now, if you're skiing or going out in the snow, you got your cotton gloves on, you're going to take one finger at a time and pull those gloves off because you don't want to screw up and have it inside and out. A rubber glove, you're ripping that baby off, it's going to be turned inside and out. So here's the answer. If there's bodily fluids on that exterior of the glove, by taking it off in that manner, it's going to potentially preserve whatever's on the outside of the glove. So it could be a home run if that's factual.
So the pictures that I'm being sent, it looks like it's laying flat down like this. And I would more or less think that was planted rather than.
That's the other thing, Is it somebody just messing with the case and the police? What in
you got a horsey.
I love that thing. That's very possible. And I spoke about the media. We've covered the media presence a little bit. We've covered a few of the cases I was personally involved in. And at one point, this case is going to become a circus, unfortunately. You're going to have all kinds of whack jobs that come out. You're going to see if this, in fact, is not a legitimate glove. You're going to see people just kind of screwing with the case and messing with the police. So I hope it's real, Dewey.
I think, Pam, you're next.
Hi, guys. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Hey, Pam, where are you from?
Omaha. I was on the other night about the emergency key on the outside of the house.
Yes, ma'am. I remember you.
Okay, another theory. What if that holster was for tools and not a pew-pew? He had the flathead screwdriver in his hand.
So you're saying it was not a holster, it could have been a tool?
It could have been, it was a pew-pew holster, but maybe he was...
Okay, so it was used for tools.
Tools in it.
Just my personal observation, Pam, and let's all go back and look at that, and if you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. I didn't see a lot of room in there for tools.
Well, just the flathead. The screwdriver. I can't imagine he'd put that in his pocket because that would hurt him in that area.
I guess it's a possibility. Yeah, absolutely would be a possibility. Keep in mind that holster was absolutely for a revolver, not a semi-auto, right?
Yes.
And I've tried to put a revolver and vice versa. They don't fit right. But that semi-automatic is going to be very loose fitting. So absolutely you could put stuff in there in addition to the 9mm. Or whatever it was. Yeah, I agree with that. It's certainly had room.
Okay, well, I'm also all for your marathon. I go to bed with y'all every night anyway. So
For
I was
anybody
kind of,
asking for a picture, this is the picture of the glove that was found.
I mean, I can't, I see it, but is it, can you tell if it's inside out?
No, but every finger is laid out.
Yeah, I mean, put your common sense hat on. How many times have we removed those plastic or latex gloves that all the fingers are laid out perfectly? They're always like kind of scrunched up in there, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So,
every finger
yeah, I mean, that may very well be a hoax.
is laid out flat.
Yeah, it kind of looks, I don't know. I mean, I've taken them off, the fingers are flat. But what's the chances? Let's go on coincidences. What are
not
the
after you
odds?
kidnap somebody.
Right. What are the odds? What are the chances you throw that glove out and it's going to land perfectly flat like that? Probably none.
Hey, Dewey, you can drop me.
Okay,
Hey
sorry.
Pam,
No,
real
it's
quick.
okay.
What is a marathon? Is that like 5 hours, 6 hours? Is
I
it
guess we're about to find out, aren't
is
we?
it 10 hours?
I think it's
I think a
24.
marathon should be at least 12 hours, y'all.
At least 12. Yeah.
So do we sleep on camera, or do we just
Sure.
stay up and party?
Oh
I'll
no,
take
we're
a
gonna
shift.
party all night long. Guys, we're at 600,000 taps and it's only 10:19. We're gonna
I'll buy
rapid
adult
through the rest of
beverages.
these that are up here. Because it is, Friday night for Jamie. So let's let him get some sleep. We'll get the rest of these 4 that are in here. And then if you guys have any questions, just to let you guys know, I am going to be fixing the Discord and adding channels to it so you guys can go through and get those answered. Dang, 12 hours? I don't think we can do it. You guys don't think so?
You guys have a
Jenny,
good night,
much.
okay?
thanks, Pam. I appreciate
Thanks.
you. Jenny says I'm rethinking my life choices. Yeah, that was crazy. I didn't think
Marie,
you guys
are
would
you
go
there,
for it.
hun?
I am.
Okay, go ahead.
Jamie, has
Hey,
it
Marie.
been discussed the red stuff that's on the porch? In the picture that Fox News Digital has, the flowers, there's one of the droplets, the flower is on top. So how is that even possible?
Good point.
And I have that picture that somebody sent me, and I was going to show
I
that.
sent it to you.
Yes. Okay.
Good point. Here's I've been to Arizona. I love Arizona. I think it's beautiful, but I don't know a lot about Arizona right now. It's dry. It's hot. Could it have been the wind blowing that foliage around? Is that possible? And it was. I don't know the answer to that. And why don't you, Maria, do this? What do you think you're saying? Just say what you're wanting to say. What could it be?
Well, it's almost like it was already there before the flowers. Yeah.
Yep. And I've looked at that, and there are things that you can explain away with common sense and yada yada yada, but that's not 100%. Was it windy? Could it have happened? Could that piece of flour or what have you been blown into that liquid and just happened to turn over to where it looked like it was dropped on top? I
mean,
guess
she
it's
is
possible.
very right. If you look at the one drop,
Mhm.
exactly. I mean, it is.
Yep. I mean, here's the deal. I don't believe in coincidences. I find that troubling. I don't have an answer for it. I don't have an answer for that one because I struggle with that too, which, I mean, that kind of deflates my theory that this occurred inside the house and she was carried out, right? I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. In the chat, I don't know if you guys have an answer to that, what you think, but I would like to hear from you guys in the chat.
I'll get a poll going on that one, and then we can go to the next question if we can do that.
Marie, good question, good point, good find. I guess you're going to be up for the marathon.
Oh, yes, I will.
Thank you, dear.
Bye.
Thank you.
I'm seeing somebody say it could have been wind, could have been an animal. Somebody said they noticed it too. See, Dewey, I'm getting better at reading the comments.
What about the porch is all bricked in?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that, the wind is enough? Did you watch the video I sent you? Cynthia, I will look at that now. Next up, Scrappy, do you want to go ahead?
Hey, Scrappy.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing, Jamie?
Man, welcome, brother.
I'm Andrew. I'm from Michigan.
Hey, how are you, Andrew?
Hey, I was just a quick question. It was more like an opinion. Do you think that we're pushing closer to this case, maybe possibly getting cracked just with them not releasing as much information as we thought they would? I mean, going on day 20 or day 21, whatever we're at right now.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility. Let's leave our opinion about the sheriff and that whole mess. Let's throw that out the door for a minute and ignore that part, right? What I do have faith in are the homicide investigators at the Pima County Sheriff's Office. They're dedicated men and women. I have a lot of faith in those men and women. Andrew, I have 100% faith in our FBI and those special agents out there working. So we can only hope and pray that's the case. My spidey sense is up, right? Because we're in day 20. Still in day 20. At midnight, it'll be day 21. There are some other cases that it took many, many months to solve, right? But with the amount of leads, they've done 2 search warrants, one county or state warrant, 1 federal warrant, the last warrant. You just don't go down and knock on the judge's door and say, Judge, I need to go search this guy's house. And by the way, we're going to bust the door in and handcuff his family for our safety. Could you just sign it? No, you need probable cause, right? So I'm banking on all of that to play into this. And I think they have some very good leads. And I think it's going to be solved.
Okay, that's kind of just what I was wondering. That's just how I feel personally, and I was just curious to get your take on it. Other than that was really all I had, and I appreciate you guys, and I like watching you on Fox. So good job.
Thank you so much. We love you here at the community. So man, please, if you get a chance, if you like it, man, please share it. We're trying to grow this thing.
And make sure you guys all drop a heart me. If you guys are in here and have not dropped your heart me, please. If it says follow, hit the follow, and then there should be a little orange heart me. Please hit that heart me. It's 1 penny. And pennies are going away, but they're still going to be used here. So
well, I appreciate you guys, and thanks for answering that.
Real quick, where are you in Michigan?
Well, I'm born and raised in Dearborn, but I went north after I had children because Dearborn's not the best anymore like it was when I was younger. So.
Well, God bless you, brother. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Tracy, are you there?
Hey, Tracy.
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Welcome.
So I recently found you last week going through TikTok, so I've been trying to watch as much of your lives as I can. Dewey, I actually had a question for you. How I came across you on TikTok, I saw you showing a picture of, it looked like Nancy Guthrie leaving her house. So I totally missed the explanation behind it. Was that like AI?
AI, 100% AI, yes.
Bummer. And then the second thing I kept seeing online, people were posting pictures of Nancy's driveway in front of her garage, and it looks like there's tracks, like too narrow to be like car tracks. And I didn't know if that was something like you guys saw or discussed at all, but I was super curious about it.
We had not, I have not seen that. I don't know if Jamie has or not, but people have discussed maybe if she left on a side-by-side or a golf cart or some kind of ATV vehicle, and that would explain those tracks. Somebody is saying that Brian posted a video saying that maybe there were some droplets at the end of the driveway.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, Brian should get an Emmy for his coverage on this case.
I agree, especially since he went to Mexico the other day.
Yeah.
Bless that man. So, but thank you all. I'm looking forward to joining more of your lives.
Tracy, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Biological evidence recovered during the investigation. This process will be lengthy. They're saying there's no additional updates there. In terms of the suspect, and this is kind of interesting, investigators continue seeking information to identify the individual from the doorbell surveillance video. As the sheriff has previously stated, while we are requesting information related to the person seen on video, investigators are not ruling out the possibility that more than one person may be involved, which is something people have been saying to me for a long time, experts I've been talking to, that they think there's more than one person, that the person we saw in the front on the doorbell camera, there may have also been someone on the back side of the house. And it's just interesting that they included that in today's update. Investigators are not ruling out the possibility that more than one person may be involved. So that's the latest. Of course, if you have any information, call 1-800-CALL-FBI. I'm just in my car outside Nancy's house now, so I'll talk to you guys later. Hey guys, so we just
The video, that was his latest shorts. I didn't hear anything about any droplets in that video.
But we heard
I'm not saying
possibility
that-
of 2 people.
So we just got
So,
a letter tomorrow, and then the next day
Sarah.
Hey, hold on before Miss Sarah comes on.
Okay.
Was the red stuff there before? Was the question. This is a tight one, Dewey. 52.83% says yes, leaving a 47.17% saying no. Man, that's pretty close to a tie, man. That's almost a 50-50 split, guys. So we've got a lot of opinions on that. Whether the red stuff was there before or after. So that was a good poll.
Thank you guys for participating in the polls too. And if you guys want more polls, we can do those. You just have to be a little patient with me because I do have to type everything out and remanage them and redo them. So no, that's okay, Angie. If you guys didn't see the poll, there's always a next time for a new poll. So, and Angie, I did just play his most recent shorts. And other than that, there's a live video, but it's hours long. So I can't go through that and specify yes or no right now. But I will definitely, when we get off, we will definitely look into that and see if that is a case that he did see that. Hey, Sarah, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello.
Hey, Sarah, welcome. Where are you from?
Guys. I'm 60 miles south of Chicago, way out in the sticks. Like, my neighbor told me the other day, I'm like, I'm glad we have street lights because where we are, the same thing could happen if we didn't have street lights.
I'm going to touch on that really quick, Sarah. I'm going to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Earlier today, Jamie, I had a couple of our viewers and people, our family in my live that live in Tucson and spoke about the amount of crime that goes on there because of the no street lights. She told us a lot of things I did not know, that they have to have yellow lights instead of the other types of lights, that they recommend LED lights due to they have a lot of astrology going on there. And somebody asked, do you think that that will ever change now since the Nancy Guthrie case? I said no.
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, unfortunately, no. I don't know exactly. Maybe that's something we get the community to do is find out what that observatory does. Is it just a private company that does stargazing? Is it something government related? But no, I don't think it'll ever go away. I mean, it's a business, big business.
And they say that there is a lot of people out there, even in their own personal homes, that enjoy looking at the stars with telescopes. So that is something that's very, very big in the Arizona area. So Sarah, thank you for bringing the lights up. And I'm sorry that I interrupted you. I just wanted to touch base really quick because I know that there was a lot of people in here talking about that. And I am thankful that I have street lights in my area. Oh, you were okay
when you brought that up.
Okay, thank you so much, Sarah.
You're welcome. The gloves that Dewey was talking about were found, I think, a mile or a mile and a half away from her house. It was a couple that they were driving around. They had their flashlight out. They were looking. My question to you is the first time the couple called the FBI, just leave them there. We'll get to it. It's not a big rush. Whatever. It was going to rain, and I believe they said it was going to rain the next day or that night or at some point. So they called the sheriff's department and pretty much got the same thing. Leave them. We'll get to them. It's not a big rush. So finally, they called 911, and like the sheriff and the FBI came out like gangbusters. At that point, it was like, oh well, I guess we really should do something, and then held these people for till 2 a.m. questioning them.
So would you guess, while Jamie's processing that because he's not happy, do you think maybe that means that those gloves were planted, Sarah?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't. They said they saw the red shiny stuff on them. I guess I didn't explore the pictures well enough. Because the two gloves were not together. They were like one over here and one in Albuquerque. I mean, they weren't close in proximity to each other, but they were close enough that they were able to see them at the same time with flashlights.
I mean, did you hear these people talk directly on an interview?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not. It was on channel something Fox.
Channel 4, and that was Tucson's local news, they're saying.
Here's my take on that. Could they be held? We don't know what time this occurred, right? Do we know the time it was called in?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we don't know what time it was called in, right? Major case, right? Major development if these gloves are connected. Oh, let me back up. I don't know what the connection issue was for not getting someone out there when they called, right? That's pretty
right.
That's concerning, man. That's just like concerning. But as far as them coming out and finally getting there, I could kind of see, depending on what time it is. I mean, I would want to spend some time with that couple. Are they the whodunits? No, they're not going to go report on their own glove being found, right? But
right.
I would want to know, hey, what areas have you covered? Because obviously they have an interest in the case. They're vested. They're out searching at night with a flashlight. So I would want to know, hey, what were you searching yesterday? Did you search the day before? Tell me all the times you've searched. Where did you search? The motive is they want to be part of the search, right? They want to be part of helping bring Nancy home. So, but I could see spending some time with that couple and kind of flushing out and learning more intelligence. I don't have a problem with that.
I wasn't questioning the couple being questioned at 2 a.m. That wasn't anywhere. I was just putting that in there so that you kind of had some reference. But it caught me off guard that the FBI just kind of put it in a folder and tucked it away. The sheriff's department put it in a folder and tucked it away until they called 911. And then it was like it was an emergency, like somebody sawed off a toe.
Here's my answer to that. I mean, I'm just disgusted by that, as we all are. But it's going to come down to manpower, right? It's going to come down to, this is almost a proof positive. They're getting so many tips. It's hard to manage, right? Someone was in the call earlier that had indicated that FBI is getting ready to change out some agents. They're going to bring in fresh agents, right? So, that's a sign of, they've been out there working nonstop. You have burnout. They're human just like us. I mean, they have to be on their A game all the time. They can't really afford to make mistakes, but they do. I mean, they're human. So, I'm going to attribute that to a breakdown in manpower, and I'm going to really focus in, these people are burnt out, and we can't afford to have mistakes like that, right? So let's get some new people in there.
Right. All right, Jamie, my other question is just strictly for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you bringing a pillow and like an air mattress for this marathon? What are we doing? Are you staying at the station? What's going on?
Well, I'm at home. I'm at a home studio.
Okay.
No. My big mouth, man. Look, Dewey's going to probably text me and what are you doing?
now, because I can tell you there's a lot of people that have followed me that'll tell you I can hang with the best of them.
They may be able to hang with the best of them. I don't know if I'm part of that best of group. So I don't. Hey, to answer your question,
You are the best of group because you're now part of me. I am part of you, and they're invested. They're invested.
I mean, what's the? Hold on for a minute. Let's put our hats on, right? If I recall, we had done a live, and it was either the first or second that I thought went on 7 hours.
I was going to say it was quite a few hours. It was.
Yes.
12 hours is a cakewalk, man. That's a couple protein shakes and some water. Now, listen, it's whatever you guys want. Seriously.
I have to say, if I'm not watching you, I'm over on the YT, and at night, like I have my cat cuddled with me, and I'm watching one of them that's sitting in front of Nancy's house.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'll hear the scanner just said this, and I'm wide awake at 3:00 in the morning. My husband's looking at me, going, "Don't you have to work at 6?" Yeah, but everybody's coming with me. We're all taking a road trip with Nancy's house.
Hey, here's an idea. You ready? This is the People's Crime Network, okay? We don't play around here, sister. Maybe we can just get a bunch of rooms rented here on the beach in Cocoa Beach, and we'll have a reunion.
I think we all just need to get one big plane trip going and start in Cocoa Beach and just head straight across the United States, pick everybody up, and just go to Tucson and we're going to solve this.
It could be the Gumball Rally.
Yeah.
Of the super sleuths.
Yes.
Now, I'm
Guys,
good.
I do want to tell you, I did touch on today in my live how big-hearted Jamie is. And when I tell you, we get off here at night and he's still going. Everybody thought last night I went live and everybody thought, Jamie's probably asleep. He does not go to sleep after this. He's still going. So, and his biggest thing is you guys that keep him going. It is you guys.
I didn't even want to do it. Let's take a break on the case. If you guys are all right with taking a break and just chatting for a minute, let's fly with the ones if you guys are all right, because it's your time that I'm taking here.
No, we are perfectly fine with that.
I didn't even want to do this. I don't want to do it. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to get on TikTok. I do the news almost every day of my life, 3 or 4 times a day. That's a lot of talking, man. And here's why I didn't want to do it. Consistency. And Dewey and I spoke about this. Dewey told me, look, if you're going to do TikTok, if you're not consistent, unplug, go to bed, move on, find something else to do, right? Consistency was my concern because, I don't want to start something and do it for a couple of days and say, okay, that was fun, and move on to the next best thing. So here's the deal, guys. I bought into this thing, and my Dewey will tell you, Dewey's gotten to know me a little bit. I'm here. Oh, there's that horse.
There's the horsey.
Guys, I'm here, and I would like to take one night soon, and let's leave the case respectfully out of it for a little bit and just chat. How many kids you got? What do you do? What's your hobbies? I'm consistent here because of you people. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. Whether you tend to believe that or not, Dewey can support me on that. And I think you guys see that I'm sincere with the people. It's not me. I don't need to be on TikTok to talk. I talk all day on the dadgum news. You get tired of talking. But when I come here, I'm in a different zone. I'm like it's family. So God bless you guys for staying consistent. And your energy brings my energy level up. And your consistency is my consistency. And that's all I can say to you guys. I mean, let's do it. Let's grow this thing as a community and blow the internet up and bring, I want to be a cowboy, and bring some people to the community that's going to thrive off of all of us. And that's my short let's go get them speech, right?
They are
But that's,
saying, let's have a meet and greet. Maybe we could start a meet and greet tomorrow. Are you planning on having a guest tomorrow evening or?
I could, but let me tell you, I'm big on team. I'm big on the organization speaks.
I can make a
Before
poll. Do you
Dewey
guys?
keeps going, Dewey, I'm gonna interrupt you real quick so I can jump off and go to bed.
Okay.
Jamie, on behalf of myself and everybody else in the chat, we are very happy that you decided to jump on TikTok and take the TikTok train. And I understand that first TikTok train got derailed and went clear off into the sunset. We're glad you're back. We're very, very glad you're back.
Well, I cannot be any more happier than you guys. I learned. I think this makes me a better person. I think it makes me. I'm envy of you guys because you guys are consistent. You're a team. You're a unit. You guys are all one, and I think it's going to bring a lot more than the Nancy Guthrie case. I think it's going to help maybe create a better community around us. Because what if 75 million people in America could do this? Wouldn't it be a cool place to live?
It would be.
Right?
And honestly, when Dewey said, "Oh, well, Jamie's thinking about not coming back,"
And that was
well,
true. Jamie will tell
there
you
goes
that was
TikTok, because I'm going to have to delete it because I don't want to listen to the rest of the 9,000 drama stories that people go live with every single day. I just don't want to listen to it anymore.
And he will tell you that I messaged him and I told him, start a new one. He ended up, he had a backup already. And I kept saying, the people want you. It's not an option. You got to come back. They want you.
Yeah, very much. But I'm going to sign off so I can go to bed because I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning.
You go. Good night. Have a good night's sleep.
So good night, everybody.
Good night, Sarah. Thank you for always stopping by. We appreciate you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Hey, Dewey, before we get off, just remind and just unplug, man. I mean, this thing can run you crazy. You've got to take time, whatever the hobby is, man, go do it. And I've got to laugh. Can I laugh, Dewey?
Absolutely.
I called my partner up, my former partner. Let me tell you something. We worked together. He knew I didn't even have to speak. He didn't speak. We knew what we were thinking, right? We were tied to the hip, heads down, putting bad guys in jail, tough guys at the time, right? But I called him today. I have my phone, right? And I'm like, you're not going to believe this. He's in the live occasionally, and I want to bring him on because you guys will fall in love with him. But I'm telling him, like, Rich, you're not going to believe this. I'm reading. I said, first of all, this chat thing, this Discord thing is nonstop. I was up until 4 o'clock this morning. It was gone. People were on here at 4 a.m. And I'm like, who are these people, right? So I was telling him about this chat. I'm like, Rich, it's just nonstop. It doesn't quit. But here's my point, and forgive me, I've got it screenshotted because I was going to call her out. Some lady, one of our sisters, said, they were talking about, the chat's so busy, it dings, and I'm going to have to turn the notifications off because my husband is complaining. The other one said, go back in the chat, it's in there. The other one says, I'm at work. I'm at work, and I can't do my job because I don't want to turn the notifications off because I don't want to miss the chat, right? So she's like jeopardizing her job
And it's
now.
only going to get worse.
What the heck? But listen, in short, guys, I do this because of you. Seriously, I'm here because of the family that we've developed, the organization, the team. It's all about you guys. It's not about me.
Jamie, they after I get off at night, I do TikTok for fun after this. After I get off at night, I go live, and then I have some of our family that comes in there. They wanted me to tattle on myself tonight. So do you have maybe a 10-minute window that I could tattle?
Tattle away, sister.
So I'm divorced, 3 years divorced. Years ago, I was married 14 years. When you dated, you met people at your house. So I met a guy on TikTok, and he asked me, if I wanted to go on a date. He lived in Ohio. I lived here. Yeah, sure. I give him, at the time I was living at my sister's, I was redoing my home, and I gave him my sister's address, thinking we were going to meet on this Friday evening. Lo and behold, Thursday at midnight, I get a knock on the door. I'm live. I was live on TikTok. And I answer the door. And it's this man that's probably every bit of 6 foot tall, but not the man I had been talking to off of TikTok, okay? This man is probably 6'2", 6'3", 400 or 500 pounds at least between there. And I'm thinking, what's happening? And he reached over and tried to kiss me, and I let him in the house. And he ended up taking a shower at my sister's, which wasn't my house at the time. But when he came in, he had 2 great big black duffel bags. And then he asked to shower. And at the time, all I could think was this was getting him away from me. And I did end up getting him out. But in the meantime, the guy that I was supposed to meet came into my panel, my box, and threw a fit because I wanted this gentleman to leave. He did not want this guy to leave. And at that point, it hit me that they were probably working together, and I am lucky that I am still living. And so everybody said that they wanted me to let you know the crazy, I had made a bad decision. But like I said, back years ago, that was normal. You just gave them your number, and yes.
Yeah, somebody in the chat said, hey, listen,
case.
Somebody says you're grounded for life.
Yes, I have been. Yes.
Yeah, that's a scary story. I don't know how many of these cases I've covered over the years on the news where, they meet offline and just things don't go well. So thank God.
It wasn't even a week later. There was a case of a lady that had pretty much, she went and met a guy, and she had given him her address, and they went their separate ways after the date. But he ended up knocking on her door, 20 minutes after she got home.
Yeah.
And he told her he couldn't go home because he was locked out. So she let him sleep at her place. But luckily, she was very smart, and she kept herself locked in her room. And when she finally called the police to come get him, he had her entire living room set up like a science experiment for her.
You're very lucky. Very, very, very blessed. Very lucky to be here with us. That could have ended in another way. The duffel bags, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, and then when I told him he had to leave, he was like, well, can I come back? And I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So.
I taught a bunch of self-defense classes for my wife over the years. And, she runs fit camps and does Zumba. And
I actually box 3 days a week normally.
Yeah, ladies in the chat, we're getting more guys in here, and I'm so encouraged by that. But if you guys, maybe we'll talk about that one night. Maybe we'll do a little self-awareness.
Absolutely, because right? it is very scary.
Yeah.
Tell him your current, Angie. We can't get off on that tangent. We'll talk about my current situation in a little bit, girls.
I've got a bunch of adopted sisters now.
Oh, yes.
In the
and when
community.
we get off at night, we come and unwind, and they listen to my craziness. But it's all fun. It's definitely, it's not a bad crazy. It's a bunch of us that talk and have a good laugh. So.
I mean, you guys are TikTok pros. I'm the newbie, but let's take what we're talking now, right? If we're all like on the edge of our seats for this case, and it's like it's got to be solved, but I would probably suggest, and if I'm wrong, do tell me. You've been around longer than I have. In some of these other chats on here, talking about the Nancy Guthrie case, if we would have stopped mid-sentence on that chat and started talking a little personal stuff, those people would have been upset. You would have been yelled at. You would have been cursed at. How dare you bring your personal... I don't know. Is that how that works on here?
Well, I can tell you
Because we have a different community, right?
that I try to hold a very tight ship when it comes to drama.
Yeah.
And I think that some people do the drama because it draws numbers. And Jamie wants to build a family and a community, and then we worry about, the moving up the ranks and the taps. The taps we love, we're sitting at 846,000 taps. We have 644 people in here. The chat is very manageable. You guys come in the box. You guys are very well spoken, getting to know one another. We love that. So
somebody in the chat says, wanted me to be sure to tell Miss Jamie that you guys, oh, look at that. That is so cool. Look at that. Yeah, I mean, she's 100% supportive. She joins these things. She'll come in live and watch for a little while. I mean, everyone sees the value, but here's the important part of this thing. I'm starting to get connected to a lot of you guys that have come up on the panel. But here's the deal, guys. It's a team thing. If you want to come up and you're just, I don't want to show myself. Don't be embarrassed. I mean, no question is ever stupid. Remember, there's no such thing as a stupid question. And this is our time, and this is your time. So step out of your comfort zone. If you're a little fearful for coming up here and talking, leave your camera off and talk. Get over that fear. Fear, no good. So here's my encouragement and challenge to the people, and I know other people in this chat that I don't want to go up here. I'm going to look, they'll make fun of me, or I'm embarrassed. Here's my challenge to the people that haven't hit that invite thing to bring me up. Tomorrow night, I want to see at least 50 people new that we've never ever heard from. And you know who you are. Hit the button, come up, and there's nothing to be fearful here. If you don't let fear win in anything in your life. And that's my little let's go get him speech, Dewey. Fear can't win anything.
100%, guys. But you don't always have to live on the edge either. When I got divorced, I was living on the edge, so.
I've been there.
Well, everybody, thank you guys so much. 875,000 taps, 600 people right now. We've held pretty steady, about 700 people tonight. I think it's amazing. We want to make sure everybody drops their heartme's before you guys leave. If you have any other questions, Discord is going to be taking off. I'm getting everything organized. Simply Kelly wants to know, do you know a profiler?
Yes, I'm working on it.
That you could bring in. Okay.
I saw it. Dewey, I'm getting better at reading the messages.
You are getting better. He's getting better at reading the chat, guys.
Already working on it. I'm trying to get, I'm going to give you a little clue. Her last name is Brown. And it's a female. I'm trying to work on that. She, some personal things going on, but if it's not her, I'm going to have a profiler on soon. And that's going to help us, not in this case, but just on a lot of cases we're going to cover. And guys, here's the other thing too. I want to get regulars. We want, the news has the regulars. I'm a regular on Fox, right? Blah, 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 blah. But occasionally they'll slip some new people in, right? Because you don't want to hear from the same person over and over. So I want to rotate people. I want to keep it fresh. I want to keep it spicy in terms of who we get on to tell us they're an expert. I'm going to get the expert, not the guy that thinks he is. So, but the profiler, important. That's next. That's coming. Trust me.
And I did see where they said after this case, they want to make sure we keep going. That's the plan. We're going to cover other cases. We're going to talk about other cases that, Jamie has cases he's covered on his own that he could bring up. So,
And I think this goes without saying, and I'm not a big rule guy. Oh, I want to be a cowboy. I'm not a big rule guy, but I am, right? If you have good quality people, you don't need a lot of rules, right?
right.
It's called self-policing, right? Self taking care of. But I will tell you guys, and I think I'll get an overwhelming vote of ones on this. Nothing political, guys. We see enough of that every day in the news cycle. I love political stuff. I can.
Bubble gum.
That's crazy.
That's the everlasting bubble gum. It never loses flavor.
I don't know how you guys do that. I lost my train of thought. Let's stay away from the political stuff because let me tell you something. You guys want a house of divided people. Bring in the political spectrum, and we're going to have chaos. And this group will not grow. It will lose people because we just don't need that.
We don't need any politics or religion. It's just something that I was brought up. You just don't talk about it.
Yeah. So I'm
Thank you guys.
all aboard for the crime stuff, but stay away from the political stuff because we get enough of that on the other channels, right? This is our channel, and this is, what is it? The People's Crime Network. So I don't know if you guys agree with that. If you do, light the room up with ones. Just no political stuff. But everything else, crime-wise, I'm down for it. Down for it. All right, Dewey.
I think that's it. The Discord will be changing rapidly in this whole weekend. So get ready, everybody. If you thought you had notifications, boy, are you going to have notifications.
And guys, please share this thing out. Let's see if we can grow this thing with good people and more family. And have you ever heard of? Somebody's asking about a case. I have heard of that case. I'll have to jog my memory, but I know the name. Just share the thing out. Let's get some more people in here. Here's all right. I threw the marathon out, Dewey. You ready for my next thing?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when this is going to happen, if it would ever happen, but I would be so humbled if in a year from now we could hold this thing together, grow this thing, and actually meet somewhere.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yes. Yep.
For the weekend.
For the weekend. Yeah.
They have crime com, they have all kinds of stuff, but that's what I see that. I want to do that for the community. I think it would be fun. I'm big on the vision thing. My wife's big on vision boards. I see that happening.
For the people that did not get in tonight, tomorrow we will be on at 8 p.m. Eastern for everybody. I think maybe in the beginning we could start with a little meet and greet. Maybe Jamie can tell us a little bit about him. We can bring some of you guys up. You guys can tell us about you. And then get into whatever we have going on tomorrow. And
wait a minute, Dewey. I'm reading the comments. This okay. Stop the presses. Hold everything. I live less than a mile from the port of Port Canaveral here at Cocoa Beach. This one's a good idea, guys. A crime community cruise out of Florida. You got my attention.
That would be interesting.
Could you imagine a cruise? What if we booked the whole flipping ship?
Right.
All right, guys, Dewey, take it away. Thank you, guys. God bless you.
950, almost 60,000. 960,000. Let's hit it. 963. There we go. We appreciate everybody. Everything you guys do, from taps to comments to coming in the panel, keeping that Discord going, keeping it respectful. So that's all I have. We'll see everybody at 8 p.m. We could do meet and greet and tell a detective story tomorrow. They're saying that. So I'm sure Jamie would be up to that.
Let me give you a teaser. Yours truly, public records. You guys can. Here's the other thing too. If I ever lie to you guys and tell you some nonsense thing, I will have 0 people tapping. Right? People can figure people out real quick. So anything I tell you guys, it's public record. You guys can search it and figure out the court files and get the documents. But yours truly, maybe this is a story. Yours truly was taken hostage twice in my career.
Wow, those would be interesting stories. What do you guys think?
2 times.
Wow.
So I don't know.
Scary.
I'm not big on war stories, but if you guys want to hear one, I certainly would.
They want to hit 1 million before we get off. We're so close.
Oh, let's do it.
994,000. Let's go. 6 more. Let's go.
All right. One more thing, Dewey, and I'm gonna ask you for your help on this one. Sister, what is wrong with you? You put yourself in a washing machine, man. Y'all know that she put herself in a washing machine on a bat. I didn't even know what a battle was. You were talking about a battle, so I went and looked what a bat. Those things are crazy. Those
Yes,
people
they do
are
get
nuts.
crazy. And I have a lot of intense fun doing them. And that was I do a lot of crazy stuff, guys. I've shaved my eyebrows off before. So, I put myself in the washing machine. My daughter started it and the lid got stuck. So
somebody said 1 million, Dewey.
yes, we are at 1 million now. So they did not want you to end until we hit 1 million. We have hit 1 million taps with 523 people.
Crazy.
And I will edit they want me to start editing and having you post when we have a special guest on. So I'm going to edit that part out and then I will send that to you and then you could post that as a video.
Yep.
So, because I know that nobody wants to watch 3 hours of a live.
No, I couldn't.
Yeah.
So, guys, 1 million, that's like 3 nights in a row or something like that.
It
And
is.
we've hit it. It is.
Oh, no, it's been every day this week we've hit 1 million. This is Friday. So, and we were on 4 days this week because you snuck in an extra one on us.
All right. I'm just, I don't know. When we meet, you'll see that I'm truly humble.
Oh, no, they know that you are humble. And I tell them that all the time. So
I get more out of you than you get out of me. Trust me. All right, guys, go to sleep. Get off the scrolling thing for just a minute. Take a break. Take a 10-minute break on the discard thing.
go get some hydration.
Go drink
And
some
we
water.
will definitely see you guys at 8 p.m. tomorrow.
All right, family.
So
Much
have
love.
a good night.
Thank you. Discard
Go
thing.
get some hydration. 8 p.m.
All
tomorrow.
right, family.
So
Much
have
love.
a good night.
Thank you.